Hi, welcome back, everyone. This is your friend Greedy Fanfics, bringing you another fanfiction. Today, we're diving into the first part of What If Deku Had a Pyrokinesis Quirk. All credit for this story goes to Color, so please support them by checking out the link in the description for more details. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Now, let's get into the fanfic. I can't wait to see what quirk I get. A boy no older than 4, with messy dark green hair, freckles said. His mother glanced at him from her chair and said, Izuku, stay quiet. I know you are excited about finding your quirk, but don't disturb the nice doctor and nurse that are trying to work. Izuku looked down and said, I am so. And if you behave nice, we will have a big ⴤ party after we find what kind of quirk you have. His mother said, a knowing smirk on her face. You could practically see the star in the child's eyes, and with a big smile he said, I will super quite from now on, I will be quite man or Mr. Silent, is noiseless a better name? And he kept on going. Izuku's mother sighed, his attention has shifted but not the excitement. Sometime I do wonder what between Quirk and ⴤ, what will he choose? It will definitely be Quirk, but it could be ⴤ, he asks me to make that every day. Oh, how could I forget its heroes? He loves them after all, but then again. They really were alike. Inko and Izuku Midoriya? An attendant poked her head out from a hallway, which brought both mother and son back to reality. Inko smiled and took Izuku by the hand, following the attendant's steps. Mom, Izuku ran out of the doctor's office into Inko's arms. What happened? Did the test go well? Inko asked. Izuku smiled and nodded. Soon the doctor came out of the office. It is nice to finally meet you, Mrs. Midoriya, he said. My name is Dr. Tsubasa. Now tell me, Mrs. Midoriya, he started. You're a 4th-generation quirk user, is that right? And it's a minor telekinetic power, yes. Inko nodded. She waved her hand a few times, the All Might figure floating from her purse to her grasp. She handed it to Izuku. That's right, my husband's a 5th generation, he could breathe fire. The doctor nodded, typing into his desktop. Well, Mrs. Midoriya, your son does indeed have a quirk. Those few words were enough for the little 4-year-old boy to explode. He stated, jumping on his seat. Inko picked her son up and made him sit on her lap and said with a smile, let the nice doctor finish his explanation first, Izuku. He nodded and sat quietly with all his focus on the doctor. So as I was saying, Mrs. Midoriya, your son does indeed have a quirk. From our testing we can confirm it's a combination of both your and your husband's quirk. Our test proved that Izuku's quirk can attract heat into his body and release it, Dr. Tsubasa said. That sounds wonderful, doctor. Can you tell me any visible sign for the quirk so I can tell if he accidentally uses it? Inko said, trying to contain Izuku from jumping again. Dr. Tsubasa looked at them and sighed. Well, Mrs. Midoriya, I'll be honest with you. The fact is, there is very less visible output for the quirk. Can you elaborate it? Inko asked the doctor. During one of our tests we noticed that temperature around Izuku was lower than the room temperature. The radius was just 10 centimeters where the quirk was affecting. The area of effect was very small and Izuku quirk is also not visible via the naked eye. So it is impossible to tell right now if Izuku quirk is active or not. What do you mean? Izuku asked, little scared. It means that even when you use your quirk, no one including you cannot tell whether the quirk is active or not. Doctor said. Izuku's excitement was almost gone after hearing the doctor. He was happy he had a quirk, but he can't show anyone his quirk. Don't be so down, little kid. Sure, maybe right now we can't tell, but in coming year if the area of effect increase, we will be able to tell, so just wait a few years and then I sure you will become a great hero. Doc said. The doctor is right. Izuku, cheer up, after all we are going to have a party when we get home. Izuku was just a 4-year-old child, it didn't take much for his mood to switch from sad to happy. The boy hearing this had a smile on his face. Thank you, doctor, Inko said, standing up ready to go home. I am just doing my job, he replied. Izuku was on cloud 9. He had a quirk, sure no one could tell, but he had a quirk. Yesterday, after returning home, he and his mother had a party. They ate katsudon and played hero. Now he was going to the park to tell his friend Kaken about his new quirk. His quirk and Kaken quirk were both related to heat. Maybe they can talk about both their quirk. He was brought back to reality when he heard a small explosion. He saw Kaken standing in the park with 2 other boys. Izuku never quite got her name. They mostly wanted to play with Kaken, but he did not mind at all. He smiled after seeing them. He was about to say hi when he saw another boy on the ground with burn marks, and saw Kaken and the other 2 shouting at the boy. Izuku does not remember when he go between Kaken and the boy, but he is here now and had to do something. I am trying to show this extra his place, so move Izuku, Kaken shouted at Izuku. Why are you being so mean? The boy said. You are making him cry, Kaken. The boy crouched down slightly and raised his fists. If you keep on hurting him, I'll stop you myself. The 3 kids looked at the boy in silence. But a second later, their smiles returned with sinister amusement. Kaken smirked and said, You want to pretend to be a hero? He slammed his right fist into his left palm, and tiny, yet threatening explosion occurring that puffed out sparks of fire and smoke. You don't stand a chance without a quirk, Kaken said. He looked at the boy with eyes closed yet let out a smile that drove pure fear into the boy's heart. I do have a quirk, the boy said as he has cut off. Now you are lying to us also, one of the boys standing behind Kaken said. If you do have a quirk, show it, he continued. I can't show you my quirk, you can't see me using my quirk, Izuku tried to explain. So you are saying your quirk is so special that you don't want to show us, random boy number 2 said. See Katsuki, he think his quirk is better than us. Hearing this, all of Katsuki's attention was shifted to Izuku. Show me your quirk, he growled at Izuku while taking a step towards him. Like I said, Kaken, I can't show it to you, Izuku said. In hindsight, he should have not said that because now he found himself lying on the ground, but the boy he was trying to save had used this chance to run away. Izuku was little relieved. I think he just lying to avoid the fact he is quirkless, random boy number 1 said with a smirk and continued, that right after all you are useless, aren't you you are so useless I forgot your name. Oh, it's Mid. Deku, Kaken said. That not my name, it is Dash. Deku, that his name it mean useless, Kaken said with a smile. Izuku did not like being cut off, he also did not like being called a Deku. He stood up and pushed Katsuki a little bit. If it was 1v1 Izuku was sure he would maybe win, now it was 1v3 there was no chance he could win. So he made a plan, run before they can react and reach the safety of his home. So he put the plan in motion and ran home. He heard shouting behind his back, but he was only focused on getting home. I am home, Izuku shouted the moment he came inside the house. Welcome back, Izuku, Inko said. What happened, you look out of breath for some reason, she asked curiously. A dog was chasing me, Izuku said looking at his mother. And I outran him and got away, he said proudly. That's good, she sighed in relief. I was going to start making dinner, any request and no katsudon. Curry, Izuku said and went to his room. Tomorrow he was going to apologize to Kaken and explain about his quirk. When Izuku arrived at this class next morning, it was weird, everyone was looking at him. Kaken was already there, and he went to greet him. Good morning, Kaken, Izuku said with a smile, hoping Katsuki forgot about yesterday, but miracles are not so easy. Kaken turned around and said, Morning, Deku, his tone dripped venom. If Izuku had to pinpoint a moment when his school life turned to shit, it would this moment, but after that moment it seems people forgot his name was Izuku and only called him Deku. Everybody started calling him a Deku, saying he is useless child without a quirk. Izuku tried his best to explain, but they called him a liar. Nobody wanted to play with him, talk with him or hang out with him. the teacher not caring enough to stop the children. After some time Izuku stopped trying to explain to other his quirk, because if someone refused to listen to him, why should he waste his breath? He would still try to defend himself physically to the extent he could. Here's the sad truth. All men are not created equal. Some kids have more power than others. It was not all bad. There were few good things in his life that made him work hard for a better future, like his mother, new stories about All Might, and the word that his doctor said to him. Maybe right now we can't tell, but in coming year, if the area of effect increase, we will be able to tell. So just wait a few year and then I sure you will become a great hero. With those words in his mind and a perfect combination of his parents' quirk as his quirk, he was going to show the world there is nothing to fear because Midoriya Izuku is here. A decade had passed since Izuku made that declaration. A decade had passed since his school life became shit, but not everything in this time was bad. Sure, he had no friends and mostly spent his time researching his quirk, but he had a good mother, a good quirk that took 9 years of research and experimentation to finally be viable, and a new heroine who just debuted in front of him now posing for Izuku. The media was also there. Her entry was dynamic. She was able to show her quirk and finish the fight in one shot, but her one pun was bad. Kamui Woods was also not good with his lines. Izuku mumbled while writing in his notebook. One look at that grin and that notebook on heroes, I know what you are, stated an older man who had some kind of star-shaped antennae protruding from his cheeks and the top of his head. He grinned at Midoriya and made a finger gun as he lightly accused him of being a fanboy. Ah. Yes, I am, Izuku said. What are you writing in that notebook anyway, kid? The man asked curiously. About her quirk, Izuku lied. These notebooks contain cool one-liners and some cool entries made by hero, which I can copy when I go pro, Izuku thought. You want to be a hero too, huh? The older man asked Izuku. Yes. More than anything, Izuku said with a big confident smile. Aldera Middle School was a great school. This school was an example to every other school on what not to do while managing a school. If a school did everything opposite of Aldera, that school would become a great school. So why was Izuku studying in Aldera? It was simple, because it was very near to his house and the crime rate in the area was also the lowest. Izuku entered the school and started moving towards his class. His teacher arrived and began to speak. So, as third-year students, it's time to start thinking seriously about your futures and what you want to do with your lives. I could pass out some career aptitude tests, but why bother? The teacher throws the papers into the air. I know you all want to go to the hero track. The students started using their quirks. As long as this idiot of a teacher is not teaching, I should rest, Izuku thought while putting his head on the desk to rest. Hey teach! Katsuki Bakugo interrupted the teacher with his feet on his table. Don't lump me in with these bunch of losers. I'm the real deal. But these guys will be lucky to end up as sidekicks to some busted-up D-lister. You think you're better than us, Katsuki? Some students said. Let's go. I'll take you all on, Katsuki said, challenging them. You got some impressive test result. Maybe you will get into UA High, the teacher said. He's going to try for the national school? That school has a 0.2 acceptance rate. It's impossible to get into, students said while talking among themselves. That's exactly why it's the only place worthy of me, Katsuki said with a prideful look on his face as he stood on top of his desk. I aced all the mock tests. I'm the only one at this school who stands a chance of getting in. I'll end up more popular than All Might himself, and be the richest hero of all time. People all across the world will know who I am, and it all starts with UA High. Oh yeah, Midoriya, don't you want to go to UA too? The teacher asked bluntly. And there goes my rest. Thank you, Mr. Moron, Izuku thought, now looking up to see a pissed-off Bakugo. The whole class starts laughing at him. Midoriya, you're kidding, right? There's no way that you're going to get into UA without a quirk. It had been years since he stopped trying to explain his quirk to others, and the rumor of him being quirkless just never died. Well, actually they got rid of that rule, and why does it matter to you guys where I apply for high school? Izuku said calmly while looking up. Katsuki tried to explode Izuku's table, but Izuku covered the table with his body, which made Katsuki stop midway, and made him angrier. He has already broken my table 3 times, not this time, you angry Pomeranian, Izuku thought while covering the table. Listen up, Deku. You're even worse than the rest of these damn rejects, you quirkless wannabe. You think they'd let someone like you a liar, when they could have me? Bakugo shouted angrily at Izuku, you won't even pass the entrance exam, you die in the exams. Deku. If you are so sure I would not pass the exam, why do you even care if I apply to UA or not? Izuku asked, trying to anger Bakugo more. With a smile he continued, or is it that you care so much about me you can't see me getting hurt in the entrance exam, Kaken? Don't call me Kaken! He shouted and tried to attack Izuku, but the teacher stopped him. Bakugo, please stop. Midoriya, stop trying to pick a fight, and Tanaka, stop and delete the recording, the teacher said. Hearing the teacher, Bakugo stopped and went back to his seat while glaring at Tanaka. Izuku just smiled at his teacher. I hope you find a cockroach in your lunch, teacher, he thought. The class seemed to have ended at Aldera. Izuku was scrolling through his phone, smiling. It has been a while since a good new song came out, I should add this song to my playlist, he thought while listening to the song. Bakugo snatched his notebook right out of his hand and stood over Midoriya with utter disrespect for the green-haired. I don't know what you think you're doing, Deku, but we're not done. Don't tell me you're taking notes on how to be a hero. One of Bakugo's 2 lackeys laughed at the sight of Izuku's hero analysis for the future number 13 notebook. That's so pathetic. He's delusional. The other lackey mocked. Izuku was not sure what they were talking about as he was listening to the new song, but waited for them to stop so he could get a word. Izuku looked between the 2 bullies and Katsuki as their mouths stopped moving. Yeah, real funny guys. Now give it back. Katsuki slammed the notebook between his fists, making an explosion that torched Izuku's pride as the boy made a distressing wail. What is wrong with you? With an unsettling amount of casual disinterest, Katsuki tossed the torched notebook over his shoulder out of the window. Most first-string heroes show potential early on. People look at them and just know they're destined for greatness. Wow, now he is monologuing, Izuku thought. When I'm the only student from this garbage junior high to get into UA, people will start talking about me like that. They'll realize I'm legit, the next big thing. That's not ego talking, I just know I'm good. Ego. One of his lackeys thought, looking at the smug expression on Katsuki's face. So clench a fist now, you're gonna break them. If they don't listen, well, you gonna make them, Izuku singing in his head. Katsuki's hand was now on Izuku's shoulder, giving the green-haired boy a malicious grin and using his quirk on him. Here's a little word of advice, nerd. Don't even think of applying, or else. Izuku would have said something if he was not listening to the song, and to counter Katsuki quirk, Izuku just activated his quirk, which absorbed all the heat around his shoulder. The bullies started to leave, their expressions satisfied with the result. That's just sad. One of them began. I thought you at least had some fight in you. He finally gets it. He'll never be a hero. Better to find out now instead of later, I guess, the other lackey said. Katsuki glanced back behind him towards Izuku. His expression seemed kind and somewhat nice. You know, if you want to be a hero that badly, there actually might be another way. Just pray that you'll be born with a quirk in your next life, and take a swan dive off the roof of the building. The 3 boys laughing left the room, leaving behind Izuku in the room. That was the worst possible time for the song to end, Izuku said, leaving the trying to find his book. Izuku walked along the school grounds. That bastard, he thought. You can't go around telling people to kill themselves. Izuku found his book in koi pond. My hard work turned into fish food. Izuku thought as he grabbed his notebook from the koi pond. Just one more year, Izuku, just one more year. Izuku tried to console himself. Izuku could not touch Bakugo in Aldera because he was the top dog, the boy with the explosion quirk, while he was a loner and the boy with a non-flashy quirk. Whenever they fought, it always got on Izuku's record. Izuku's hands were tied right now, but that won't be the case at UA, so he will wait. Izuku, walking home from school, holding his burnt hero notebook in his hand, as he stood in front of a pedestrian tunnel, he thought, "Today was such an awful day. I will ask Mom to make katsudon. Then the day will be less awful." Slime began to appear from behind Izuku as the sludge villain began to form in front of Izuku. "You'd make a perfect skin suit for me to hide in, kid." The sludge villain charged Izuku. "What the hell? Where did you go?" the villain said. "Man, can't anything go right in my life?" Izuku said, now a few meters away from the villain. "How did you dodge my attack, kid?" Villain shouted. "You should not worry about me, you should worry about yourself because you are now facing the Great ᴜᴘ," Izuku said. The manhole cover within the tunnel flew up into the air. The sludge villain turned around, and his eyes widened in shock, terrified at the sight before him. "All Might!" Izuku shouted. "Have no fear," he stomped his foot down, dust rising from the concrete, "now that I am here." Izuku could not believe his eyes. The #1 hero was standing before his eyes. No matter how old Izuku gets, he will still be a big All Might fan. The real thing. In the flesh. Standing right in front of me. He looks so much cooler in person. All Might ducked under the sludge villain's attack. All Might dodged the second attack and wound his right fist up. Texa was. Smash! He threw his fist forward, a torrent of wind blowing the sludge villain away. "I can't hold together," said the villain while his fluid body scattered. "Villain defeated," All Might announced, then he turned around to look at Izuku. "Young man, I hope you are well. The villain did not hurt you, right?" All Might asked. "Okay, Izuku, be calm, you can do this." Izuku thought before saying, "No, the villain did not hurt me. I am All Might," Izuku said with a grin. All Might looked at Izuku and laughed, then said, "That was a great pun, young man. It's good you are not hurt now. I will collect the villain." All Might then went to the nearby vending machine, bought some drinks, finished them, and then stuffed the villain in the bottle. "Excuse me, All Might," Izuku said. All Might turned towards Izuku. "Can I get your autograph and a photo?" he said, bowing 90 degrees with a book in his hand. "No problem," All Might just said and took the book to sign it. He saw the title, Hero Analysis for the Future #13, and asked, "Planning to become a hero?" "Yes," Izuku shouted with a smile. "Okay, now smile, young man," said while taking a selfie. "Thank you so much. This will be an heirloom. A family treasure passed down for generations to come." All Might gave a thumbs. "Welp, I've got to get this guy to the police so they can take care of him," All Might said, patting the pocket in his pants where he'd secured one of the bottles with the villain. He turned away from Izuku. "Stay out of trouble. See you around and work hard to become a good hero, young man." "Yes, I will, thank you," said the bowing fanboy. All Might launched into the sky in a powerful jump. "Thanks for your continued support," and he was gone. "That was awesome," Izuku shouted, from his entrance to his exit. "Everything was awesome. Oh, I should hurry home and tell Mom. This is the best day of my life." He ran home to tell his mom. ᴜᴇ loved her son very much. So imagine her surprise when he came home running and told her about his day. She was worried when he said he met a villain, but calmed down when he mentioned All Might. She was glad he was fine, but it has been 30 minutes, and he has not stopped talking about All Might. "Izuku dear, I am happy for you, but I have some work to do," she said. "But this is All Might I am talking about." Izuku looked offended. ᴜᴇ, expecting this response, said, "All Might told you to work hard to become a hero, but you are here just sitting and taking." Izuku stood up. "You are right, Mom. I am going to my room to look place around town to work out, and then he ran to his room. Inko smiled and switched on the TV to watch her favorite show. In Izuku's room, he was busy searching for a place around town to work out while listening to All Might interviews for inspiration. Izuku's room from top to bottom was decorated with hero stuff, from posters to stickers, keychains to action figures. He had top heroes like All Might, Endeavor, and Gang Orca, and some not in the top rank like Fat Gum, Iwabami, Midnight, and Hound Dog. While listening to the interview, an idea stuck in his mind because he found the perfect place to train his body. He was going to go there tomorrow, but today he will rest. Takoba Municipal Beach Park was more of a garbage dump than a beach. Yesterday, listening to the All Might interview, he got the idea to clean the beach and train his body. It was a brilliant idea, but it seemed he was not the only one with this idea. He was beaten by people who were already there doing the same thing he was about to do. He was moving towards them to introduce himself because it would be rude of him not to introduce himself. It was not because there was a beautiful girl with blonde hair, it was just nice manners. "Hello, the name is Midoriya Izuku. Wanted to ask what you two are doing," he said with his best smile. The two people looked at him and the girl said, "Hi, I am cleaning this place as part of my training. My name is Melissa Shield, and that is my uncle and trainer," the beautiful girl said. "Yagi Tashinori, may I ask what you are doing, young man?" asked Yagi. "I had the same idea of cleaning the beach to train, but I guess you two beat me to it. Now I have to find some other place," said Izuku with a hint of sadness. "Why, this is a public place where anyone can work out here," Melissa said. "You don't mind me also working here?" Izuku asked just to be sure. "No. Oh, I just wanted to make sure that you guys don't have a problem with me," Izuku said with a smile and left. While trying to find a place to start the cleaning process, he was thinking about the girl. She was taller than me, about 9 to 10 centimeters, and she looked good in those glasses. After a few minutes, he found a place to start working. To others it would to training, but to Izuku it was a game of what weird thing he can find. Till now he found normal stuff like a car door, a small electrical appliance, and just some rusted piece of metal, but he did find a few weird stuff like handcuffs, a working hairdryer, and a bag full of paperclip. He was so busy with his little game that he did not notice the blond man approaching him. "Excuse me, young man," Yagi called out to Izuku. Izuku, noticing the man, said, "Ah yes, Yagi-san, did you need something from me?" "No, actually I noticed you don't have a place to put the trash you collected, so I wanted to tell you that the white truck parked there is mine," pointing at the truck. Yagi said, "You can drop it in the truck, I will take it to an actual dump yard." "Oh, thank you," Izuku said with a smile. "No problem," Yagi said and went back. "That's nice. Now I don't have to worry about where I put the trash," Izuku thought, and went back to his cleaning the beach. As the weeks passed, Izuku met the two daily. At first, he would just greet them, but after a few weeks Melissa invited Izuku to eat together when they took a rest, and now they were talking regularly. "So a few weeks back I was attacked by a villain," Izuku said. "Really, what happened?" Melissa asked cursorily. "The villain was no match for me," Izuku said with a grin, "but you won't believe which hero arrived as my backup." "It's rescue, not backup," Melissa said. "Just okay," Izuku said with a blush. "The hero that came as the backup was All Might," he said with a big smile. "All Might," Melissa said while looking at the said hero, who was just smiling looking at them. "Yes, look, I even took a photo," Izuku showing his phone with the photo. "Ah, you look so happy," Melissa said with a cheeky smile. "It was the best day of my life," Izuku said looking at Melissa, who was scanning the photo with her eyes. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Checking if this photo is real or not." "You are such a big fanboy, maybe you photoshopped it," Melissa said, taking a jab at Izuku. Now, don't feel jealous, I know not everyone can have a chance to meet All Might," Izuku said with a grin. Trying to stop herself from laughing, she said, "Yes, I am jealous. Izuku, you are so lucky getting to meet All Might." For some reason, Izuku thought she was being sarcastic but ignored it and focused on something else. Izuku? He questioned. Aizu. Oh, it's just a habit. On Island calling people by their first name is common, Melissa said. I will try to keep the habit in control if you feel uncomfortable. Izuku, sensing an opportunity, with a grin said, I do feel uncomfortable, so as a punishment we have to exchange numbers and you have to save it as the Great King on your phone. Okay, Melissa-chan. You had me in the first half, not gonna lie, Melissa said, looking at the smiling idiot. You are lucky that you are cute or I would have smacked you, she said. You could try but you will not succeed, Izuku said. Now both of you stop flirting. Break is over, get back to your training, Yagi said to them. They both blushed a little when they heard this but went back to their training. In the end, Izuku did get Melissa's number, and she had to save it as the Great King. As the months passed, Izuku and Melissa became even better friends. They had even started using nicknames for each other. Izuku was trying his hardest to not mess up this friendship as his track record with friendships was very bad. Melissa thought cleaning the beach was going to be hellish, and it was, but having Izuku made it better. From her point of view, Izuku looked like a little green bunny. He would tell her stories about all the heroes he had met and sometimes tease her about meeting All Might. Being such a big fanboy, he still did not make the connection between her name and All Might's first sidekick. She would let him tease her about All Might, but maybe in the future, she will have a chance to see his embarrassed face when he finds out Uncle Might. Okay, listen, you two, Yagi said. The beach cleaning is going great, but if we do muscle training every day it might reduce the chance of getting into UA, so today we will do a little sparring. Are you ready? Of course, I was looking for a reason to smack Izzy, Melissa said with excitement. Yagi-san, as a gentleman I cannot fight Mel, Izuku said politely. What can't fight me because I am a girl? Melissa asked, looking at Izuku, who had a grin on his face. I have no problem with fighting a girl, but I cannot fight an idiot, Izuku said. That I am punching him right now, Melissa shouted, and was ready to throw a punch towards Izuku before Yagi stopped her. Stop, Melissa, you can punch him when you both start sparring. Melissa stopped, but not before sending a glare towards Izuku. And also, young man, don't tease her too much, Yagi asked. Sorry, Izuku said. They went to a clear area to start their spar. Okay, let's set some. Do not use your quirk and do not throw sand, that it for right now, Yagi said. Okay, sure, all right, understood, they replied and faced each other. Okay. Start, Yagi announced. Izuku should have not teased the taller girl because she went straight for his face, Izuku following all of her with his eyes and dogging her. Without the use of quirk, they both had similar speed, and because of this right now Izuku was stuck on the defensive. Melissa is only able to get small hits on Izuku, which he blocked. Ouch, it hurts, Mel, Izuku said. Stop lying, Izzy, she shouted. And stop moving this much, Melissa said, throwing a punch toward his guts this time. You are just slow, am I not even moving that fast? Izuku tried to taunt her. Hearing this, Melissa slowed down a little, which gave him an opening. Izuku, noticing this, tried to hit her gut. Melissa reacted to this move, and moved a little to the side, and caught Izuku's arm between her body and arm. Izuku, seeing his arm getting trapped, tried to get out, but couldn't. Looking up, he saw Melissa with a sinister smile. Mel, we are good friends, right? Izuku, trying to distract Melissa. Oh, yes we are, but you are not getting out of this, Melissa said while reaching to punch him. If I am going down, I will take you with me, Izuku thought, not wanting to get hit. He pulled himself and Melissa towards the ground. They both hit the ground hard, but the sand reduced the impact. Ouch, I head, Melissa said. Melissa wins, Yagi shouted. Huh. Oh yes. I won, Melissa said, now sitting, happy that she won. What? How? Izuku shouted, and Mel, get off me. Melissa got off Izuku. Izuku, now also sitting, looked at Yagi for an explanation. You both were equal in terms of speed, but when Melissa gave you an opening you easily got caught by her. Your idea to pull both of you down was good, but in the end, you were still pinned by her body and could not move at all. That's why she won, Yagi explained. I became a victim to my own idea, Izuku said, dusting off the sand from his pants. Stop smiling, you got lucky. Luck is also a factor, Izzy, Melissa said. Okay, get ready fast, Yagi said. Both went to their spots and start. By the time they were ready to take their break, they had fought 7 times, of which Izuku won 4 times. Their break was normal. They talked about heroes and new movies they both watched, and Izuku began to tell her how he was tracking a copy of an old 4-player fighting game in which they could scan their face and play as themselves or any heroes they liked. Melissa was talking about a new support item she was thinking of making for herself. Yagi-san also started telling the story of Melissa's childhood, for which Melissa tried to stop him. Now that the break is over, both of you get back to work, Yagi said while looking at a smiling Izuku and completely embarrassed Melissa. Melissa, still embarrassed, went towards a trash pile and started to remove it. While working on the pile, one of the metal pipes was stuck. She started to use her full strength to pull it out. Don't hurt yourself, Melissa, by trying too hard, Yagi said. I am fine, Melissa said, still trying to pull it out. Should I help you, Mel? Izuku said, moving toward Melissa. I said. I am, Melissa said, finally pulling the metal out. See, I did it, stating happily, turned towards Izuku and ᴂᴇ-ᴟᴏ. They looked scared. Melissa, look out! Yagi shouted. The trash pile in front of her started to fall. She saw the huge pile coming towards her. She tried to run but was not fast enough. The trash pile came crashing down on her. Melissa, cough cough, are you all right? Yagi shouted, trying to find her in the trash. Damn it, if I did not use all of my time I would have reacted as well. Melissa, answer me, Yagi, now sounding desperate. Mel dash. Then he saw Izuku standing on the other side of the trash pile with Melissa standing beside him. I am okay, somehow, she said, sounding scared. She turned to look at Izuku and tried to thank him for saving him, but Izuku shouted at her. What is wrong with you? Izuku said. Why were you just sitting there? Do you have a death wish or something? Hey, why are you shouting at me? I tried my best, Melissa said. Tried you best? Huh, you did not even try to use your quirk, Izuku, now calming down. Izuku bent down and hugged the girl. I was so scared when I saw the trash pile coming towards you, Mel, Izuku said while hugging. Melissa could only look at him and say nothing. What could she say? I lied, I don't have a quirk. I will get it from my uncle later. She looked at ᴂᴇ-ᴟᴏ for some answer, but looking at him it looked like he was also thinking the same thing. They ended their training and went home for the day. During the ride back, things between All Might and Melissa were quiet. All Might knew today they were going to have a long talk when they reached home. After reaching home, Melissa went to her room and came out during dinner time only. During dinner, All Might looked at Melissa and said, What happened today was not your fault. Melissa looked at him confused. I should have been more vigilante while overlooking your training, so it was my fault. Understood. Uncle Might, I'm not thinking about that. I am thinking about what Izzy said about not using my quirk, she said. I realized our friendship was based on a lie. Do you think he became friends with you because of your quirk? Yagi asked. No, but people see the quirk before they see the person nowadays, she said. This feeling of lying to him, I don't like it one bit, she said, looking down. I know how much you cherish your friendship with him, but there are some things you can't tell him, Yagi said. You told me and Dad, Melissa countered. I told you because I trust you, Yagi said, trying to make Melissa understand. And I trust Izuku, she said, now looking at her uncle. You have people you trust who know about One for All, and I want to have a few people I trust to also know about it. Melissa, you know how big of a secret is ᴅᴇ. Young Midoriya is a nice kid, but I'm not sure about it, Yagi tried to make her understand. Remember what you said when you offered me ᴅᴇ. You would let me make my own choices, and you will guide me to learn from my mistakes so that I can become a great hero, and you believed in me to achieve that goal, so let me make this choice of telling him, she said with unwavering eyes. Yagi sighed. He knew once she set her mind on something, she would not change it easily. I did say that. I don't agree with you on this 100%, Yagi said. Melissa tried to say something. But I will still support you because it will be your quirk and because I have trust in you, Yagi said with a small smile. Thank you, Uncle Might, Melissa said happily. Tomorrow she was going to tell Izzy about her quirk and hope their friendship doesn't suffer. Izuku could tell something was off today. Melissa looked like she wanted to say something, probably something about yesterday, but did not know how to say it. Izuku tried to wait for her to have the courage to say it, but he did not have enough time to waste, so he just asked her. What is it that you want to discuss, Mel? Don't try to say it's nothing, it's practically painted on your face, Izuku said, looking at Melissa and Yagi. Can we sit down first? Melissa requested. Izuku complied and sat down. So what is it? Izuku asked. I am quirkless. I lied about having a quirk, she stated, looking down, not wanting to look at Izuku. Izuku looked at her. This was probably the second time they have talked about their quirk. He saw her looking down and said, I can understand why you lied about having a quirk. People see the quirk before they see the person in today's world. Hearing this, Melissa looked up at Izuku, who continued, My quirk has such a low visual effect that most people think I lie about having a quirk. Most people at school think, till now, that I am quirkless. They just don't want to listen to an explanation. I know how the world treats quirkless people, so I understand why you lied. So understand this also. Izuku now looking into Melissa's eyes. I don't care if you have a quirk or not. I care about Melissa. Shield the girl, Izuku said with a big smile. Thank you, Izuku Midoriya, she said. Melissa shed a few tears hearing this declaration. He told her so much about his life, and it was her turn. I am going to tell you a secret. Promise me you will keep it, she asked. Izuku nodded. I am going to get a quirk when we complete our training. Melissa looked at Izuku. His face looked confused, but he was waiting for her to complete. She looked at her uncle for help. Maybe to understand it better, I can help you, young Midoriya, because I am here, All Might said. Seeing Yagi transform into All Might probably destroyed Izuku's brain, but he still did not faint and waited to hear the full story. If someone other than All Might told him about a transferable quirk and that a skeleton man was All Might, Izuku might ask them what they were drinking. In 5 minutes, he heard the craziest story. Izuku was not sure how he had not fainted, but then he looked at Melissa, who was waiting for him to respond. I don't know what to say, he admitted. It's all right. When Uncle Might told me and my dad about it, we were also in a similar state, Melissa said. So all this training is so that you can take All Might quirk? Izuku asked while Melissa nodded. Man, when I woke up today, I did not think my knowledge about quirk was going to turn upside down. Just one question, why did you tell me? Izuku asked. Because you are my friend and I trust you, Melissa said. And you allowed her because of this reason, Izuku pointing at All Might asked. Yes, All Might said. He thought for a few seconds and said, Thank you both for trusting me. I assure you both your secret is safe with me, Izuku said with a hand on his heart. Izuku was happy that these two trusted him enough to tell him such a big secret, but that did not mean he would miss the chance to tease her. All Might, I have something to ask you, Izuku said. What it is, young Midoriya? Yagi asked. If I clean more of this beach, will you give me OFA instead of Mel? Izuku asked with a cheeky smile. Melissa, hearing this, picked up the nearby metal pipe and gave Izuku a sinister smile. I will give you a 5-second head start, you better run now. If you give a head start, you will never catch me, Izuku now standing up ready to run. All Might just sighed hearing their usual banter and seeing Melissa chase Izuku. He thought maybe it was the right choice to tell Izuku. Don't get hurt, you two, he shouted. It was the day of the UA entrance exam. All Might and Izuku were just coming back from the nearby store when they heard Melissa scream. They both rushed to the beach and saw Melissa standing on top of the collected trash and screaming her heart out. Melissa swayed on top of the pile and fell toward the beach. All Might caught her as he smiled at his successor. Excellent work, All Might said in pride. We worked together for almost 9 months and still could only clean 3/4 off this beach, but I will also say excellent work, Izuku said with a smile. A tired Melissa smiled at All Might. Uncle Might, I did it. Do you think I'm ready now? Yeah, you did good, Melissa. I've got to say, I'm impressed. I knew you had it in you, All Might said as he put Melissa down. Now for your reward. All Might plucked a hair from his head. All Might held out the hair in his hand and said, Eat this, as Melissa stared at the hair in disbelief that she had to eat it. Izuku burst out in laughter. You have to eat his hair to get the quirk. Oh, where is my phone? I need to record this. This isn't exactly how I imagined it, Melissa said. Come on, you can do this, Mel. Eat it, Izuku said with his phone out. She took the hair and ate it. I feel disgusted, Melissa said. Good, now you should feel it activating in about 2 to 3 hours, All Might. Congratulations, you have a quirk now, Izuku said. Thank you, Izzy, she replied. Now both of you go home and get ready for your exam, All Might said. Yes, okay. See you later, Mel, Izuku said as he ran off. In a few hours, they were going to take their UA entrance exam, and both Izuku and Melissa were ready for whatever UA was going to throw at them. UA High School's Hero Course. It is a training school for those whose goal is to acquire the necessary qualifications needed for pro heroes. Among similar courses across the country, there is the most popular and most competitive, and their acceptance rate is less than 1 in 300 every year. This is what people say about UA. Izuku arrived at the entrance of UA. It feels like I am entering a different world, Izuku looking around. He had arrived ahead of the exam time so that he could look around the school. He stopped to look at the map of the school. They should not call this a school, UA should declare itself a small city, Izuku said while admiring the area around him. While admiring the UA map, Izuku's quirk flared, informing him that someone was nearby with high body heat. Izuku had trained so much with his quirk that he could identify people with their body heat. I must have done something bad in my previous life, Izuku thought, and turned towards his right to look at the one and only, always angry Bakugo Katsuki. Stupid Deku, Katsuki said. Good morning, Izuku said, trying to make sure he has a peaceful morning. Get out of my way now before I set you on fire, Katsuki threatened. Izuku would have said something, but he did not want a teacher at UA to see him fighting at the gate of UA, so he just moved out of the way. Katsuki moved past him while glaring at him. When Izuku saw Katsuki enter, he started to move himself, checking his phone for any message from Melissa, and then he started to read Hero News. Best Jeanist won the Best Jeanist award 9 years in a row. It's always him who wins it. All Might saves people from a fire. He told me about this already. Does All Might have a secret love child? I wonder what this reporter is smoking, Izuku thought. He was so deep in thought that he tripped over his own feet. Instead of hitting the floor, he was frozen in the same spot when he was about to fall. He looked and saw that he was floating in midair. Are you all right? He heard from behind. Izuku turned around to meet his savior. Izuku would not lie. If someone told him he died when he hit the ground, he would believe it because there was an angel in front of his eye. A brown-haired girl with a cute hairstyle and permablush on her face. She helped him stand up properly. I stopped you with my quirk. I'm sorry I didn't ask first. But I figured you wouldn't mind me catching you, she said with a smile. Izuku looked up at her as she was the same height as Melissa. Thank you, Izuku said to her. The girl just nodded. Isn't this all like way nerve-wracking? She asked. Yes it is, Izuku said. Well, guess I'll see you inside. Bye, she said and left. Holy whoa. That girl was cute, Izuku thought when he suddenly realized. I forgot to ask her name, he thought while clutching his head. Melissa arrived and saw him acting like that and asked, What are you doing? Melissa standing beside Izuku now. Mel, I just saw a cute girl and I forgot to ask her name, Izuku told her. A cute girl, huh, Izzy? And I thought I was enough, Melissa said while staring at him. Don't give me that look, if you saw her you would also hit your head for not asking her name, Izuku said. Now I also want to meet her but we don't have time for that. Let go, she said while moving towards the exam center. I was not the one who came late, Izuku said accusingly while following her. What's up, UA candidates? Thanks for tuning in to me, your school DJ. Present Mike says on a large stage. Come on and let me hear ya. He put his hand to his ear but was met with silence. Keeping it mellow, huh? That's fine. I'll skip straight to the main show. Let's talk about how this practical exam is going to go down, okay? Are you ready? He was met with silence again. While Present Mike was explaining the practical portion of the exam, Melissa turned to Izuku and asked, You know that everything he is saying is written on the printout, you don't have to focus so hard. Every UA teacher is a pro hero, I'm trying to find each of them right now, so stay quiet, Izuku said. Somehow that makes sense for you, Melissa said while Mike continued. As your application says, today you rocking boys and girls will be out there conducting 10-minute mock battles in super hit suburban settings. Gird your loins, my friends. Present Mike said as the screen behind him changed to show the different battle centers. After I drop the mic here, you'll head to your specified battle center. Sound good? Okay. He was met with silence once more as no one in the room replied to him. I feel bad for him, no one will reply to him, Melissa said to Izuku, who ignored her. Do you not feel bad for him, Izzy? Melissa now shaking him to get his attention. Izuku, who still ignored her. Your goal in this trial is to use your quirk to raise your score by shredding these faux villains like a mid-song guitar solo. Attacking other examinees is a UA no-no, you dig? Present Mike said. Excuse me, sir, but I have a question, a boy with glasses said, raising his hand. On the printout, you've listed 4 types of villains, not 3. With all due respect, if this is an error on official UA materials, it is shameful. We expect the best from Japan's most notable school, he said and turned around. Additionally, you with the blonde hair, Tenya said, pointing at Melissa. You've been talking this entire time. Stop that. If you can't bother to take this seriously, leave. You're distracting the rest of us. Melissa looked around and saw a few students were sending her dirty looks. She covered her mouth and apologized while the Izuku was laughing at her. I will kill you once we are outside, she said in a low voice to Izuku. All right. Examinee number 7111. Thanks for calling in with your request. The 4th villain type is worth 0 point. That guy's just an obstacle we'll be throwing in your way. Think of it as a hurdle you should try to avoid. Present Mike said as the screen behind him showed the mini Present Mike figure running away from the 0-pointers. But there's kinda no point. Thank you very much. Please continue, the boy said, bowing before sitting down. That's all I got for you today. Present Mike finished his explanation. Izuku arrived at his battle center. He was sad that his and Melissa's center were not the same, but happy he did not get Bakugo in his center. He saw Cementos standing near the start line. Would it be alright if I asked for an autograph right now, Izuku thought. Alright kids, get ready, we will start the exam in 5 minutes, Cementos said. Okay, focus, the next 10 minutes are the most important 10 minutes of your life, Izuku thought, getting ready. While Izuku was calm, Melissa was anything but calm. Melissa was feeling super nervous right now. She was confident in her strength but not in her new quirk. Her uncle might told her to be careful of the impact OFA will have. She was trying to calm down but she could not do so. Are you okay? Melissa heard. She turned around to meet the owner of the voice. A cute girl with brown hair was standing there. Just a little nervous, Melissa said. I get you, I also super nervous but also equally excited, the girl said with a smile. I am not sure what kind of quirk you have, but I am sure you will pass the exam, the girl said, trying to cheer Melissa up. Melissa calmed down a little. Thank you. Hearing you say this calmed me a little. I am glad I was able to help you a little. ᴅᴇʟ by the way, Ochako said with a smile. Melissa is my name, she replied. She heard Mike shout. Okay, start. Present, Mike yelled from a tower, and everyone turned to look at him. What's wrong? There are no countdowns in real fights. Run, run. The die has been cast, you know. They turned around and watched everyone already sprinting in the city. What? Melissa said. We are behind already. Ochako yelled and started to run while Melissa followed the others. Izuku entered the fake city. His first task was to find a metal object that he could use to hit the robots with. It did not take him much time as he removed a pipe from an already broken robot. The reason was simple: Melissa wouldn't use her quirk because she got it today, and when they both she would brag how she passed without using her quirk, so he would try to do the same. Soon he found a two-pointer. Izuku went near it while avoiding the attack and stuck it in an open space. He found that the robots were very easy to destroy if you knew where to hit. He ran around the fake city, destroying the robot, sometimes using the pipe and sometimes using the explosive he found on the destroyed robot. He would help others when he saw them in trouble. He heard 6 minutes were left in the exam. The robots are meant to be destroyed, that's why destroying them is not difficult. You need some muscle and strategy for this exam, but everyone is so focused on using their quirk. I wonder how Melissa is doing, Izuku thought while he dropped some explosives on the robot. 6 minutes and 2 seconds left. Present, Mike informed. Melissa now panicked, watching how most of the pointers were destroyed. Points. I need points fast. When Melissa got to a wide street where most of the robots were, she saw that most of them were destroyed. She saw Ochako running in front of her. She was activating her quirk on foe villains, causing a pink flash from her fingertip. She put her hands together, calling out, "Now release!" as the robots came crashing down to the ground. Okay, that should be at least 28 points, Ochako said and kept running to find more robots. 28 points? Melissa thought in disbelief. At this rate, there won't be any enemies left. I'm gonna fail, Melissa thought in panic. In the monitoring room, the examines have no idea how many villains are present or their locations. They have limited time, must cover a vast area, and hunt down every last target, Nizu said while looking at the TV. Some use information-gathering abilities to plan out strategies while others rely on speed to pull ahead of their peers. Of course, remaining calm under pressure can be a huge advantage, as can pure power and combat ability. The most successful students use a combination of all these tactics. They're the ones who rack up the highest points, Yagi said as he entered. Oh Toshi, you came, Nizu said looking at him. I am going to be a teacher, so I came, Yagi said while bending down to Nizu's level and said, I also came to ask if you have any tips on how to be a good teacher, sir, All Might whispered to him. Good, I thought you were not going to take this job seriously, Nizu said. I'd say this year's group looks promising, Midnight said. Well, there's still time before it's over. The real test has yet to come, Snipe said before pressing a red button labeled Yaruki switch. Let's see how they react. The ground started grumbling and dust clouds appeared. Most of the examines looked toward the source of the rumbling with tense expressions. Ominous music began to play as the source broke the glass windows of the buildings as it moved past them on giant wheels. Izuku looked around in shock before a towering figure loomed over him. Izuku looked up and saw the zero-pointer grasping 2 buildings with its gigantic metal hands. It crushed one of the buildings in its grip, causing concrete to break apart and fall to the ground. Wow, they tricked us, Izuku said, turning around and running away. I don't see a reason to fight it. I could defeat it. I used my quirk. It sure is big. I wonder how much money are they spending on just an entrance exam, Izuku thought while running back. He saw a few people frozen in fear. Hey, you guys, MOV. Boom. What the hell? Izuku shouted as he heard a loud sound, wondering what it was. What the hell? Melissa shouted. She was right now falling towards the ground. Melissa was not sure what happened. She saw Ochako stuck in the rumble that the 0-pointer, and before sure understood what was happening she had used OFA to jump and punch the robot. She was sure not only were her limbs broken, but her ears were also damaged because of the loud noise. Just 1 minute left. President Mike announced. You may have molded your body into a proper vessel, but you did in a hurry. So be cautious. The physical backlash of one for all can be intense. She remembered what Uncle Might said. He warned me. I should have listened. No, this isn't over. There's gotta be something I can do. Melissa thought with determination. A Detroit smash. It's the only chance I've got to survive. Melissa screamed as she was preparing herself to hit a Detroit smash. Slap. Ochako slapped Melissa, causing her to float a few inches from the ground. And release. Ochako returned the gravity of both Melissa and the robot part that she was on. She held her hand to her mouth before giving in to her nausea and vomiting rainbow puke. I'm alive, Melissa said. And that's it. Time's up. President Mike announced. Hearing this, Melissa fainted. 1 week later. Izuku was eating his dinner quietly. This week was hard for him. There was radio silence from Melissa and All Might. After the exam, he had asked Melissa what happened to her. She told him how her exam went and how she ended up in the UA medical wing. Right now Izuku was waiting for Melissa to come to his house, so they could view the result together. They had promised this before the exam, so he hoped she would keep it. Izuku, your friend is here, Inko called him. Izuku looked around and saw Melissa walk in. Hey, Melissa said in a low voice. Izuku could she was sad but did not know how to cheer her up. I bought my letter. Did your letter arrive? She asked. Yes, it's in my room, let's go, Izuku said as he and Melissa moved toward his room. Good luck both of you, I know you both will pass, Inko said, trying to lift the mood. Thank you, Auntie, Melissa said and went into Izuku's room. So should I open my letter first or do you want to go? Izuku asked. Melissa thought for a second and said, Can you go first please? Okay, Izuku said. Izuku grabbed the envelope by the sides and tore it open right down the middle. A silver disc dropped onto his desk, lighting up as soon as it came to a rest. All Might appeared on a holographic projection in front of him, declaring, Booyah! I am here, as a projection, now. I know it's been a while, but with great power comes a great amount of paperwork. He bowed. My apologies, both of you. Is this live? Izuku asked, hearing the last part. This is not live, I know both of you will see this together, All Might said. Izuku thought it was cool, but Melissa was already fed up with her uncle. Right, so, moving on. All Might cleared his throat. Young Midoriya and Melissa, you both passed the written test. For the practical part, young Midoriya, you earned 30 combat points, and Melissa, you got 0 combat points. Melissa looked down before saying, Congratulations, Izzy, at least one of us passed. Before he could respond, the projection spoke. Fortunately, All Might continued, there were other factors. Melissa looked back up at the projection. But before we get to that, I have another surprise. All Might gestured towards the screen that was to his right, pulling out a remote. Here. Look. A short clip for your viewing pleasure. He pressed a button on the remote, and the screen filled up with a doorway within UA. Entering that doorway was none other than Uraraka in her middle school sailor uniform. Do you have a sec? The gravity girl asked with an anxious expression clouding her face. Sorry to interrupt. Melissa's face turned into a somewhat confused, but also hopeful expression. It's that cute girl, Izuku said. All Might had a teasing note in his voice as he announced, She showed up after the exam to talk about you, young lady. The clip changed to show Uraraka talking to Present Mike. You know that girl with blonde hair, same height and pretty. Uraraka started to struggle as she tried to find the right words to describe Melissa. Do we know someone like that, Mel? Izuku said with a grin. Melissa punched him lightly. She means me. I was wondering, Uraraka continued, Would it be possible to give her some of the points I earned during the exam? ᴅᴜᴜ wasn't done. She would have had a better score if she hadn't stopped to help me. She saved me. ᴅᴜᴜ cried out. I have to make it up to her. Please, sir, can't you just give her my points? All Might stopped the video. His back turned as he watched the screen too. You have a quirk now, yes, but it's your actions that inspire others. And that's why I am here. You see, the practical exam was not graded on combat alone. How could a hero course reject someone who is committed to saving others, no matter the consequences to themselves? All Might asked rhetorically. After all, that is what makes a hero. So we have rescue points. The screen showed the observation room the teachers had been watching the exam from, each of them holding up signs with point values on them. A panel of judges watches, and they award points for heroic acts beyond just fighting villains, explained All Might before showing both their scores. Izuku Midoriya, 15 rescue points. Ochako Uraraka, 45 rescue points. Melissa Shield, 60 rescue points. All Might smiled over his shoulder at the camera. You both passed the exam. All Might stretched his hand out. Welcome, you're now a part of the Hero Academia. The shout that came from Izuku's room was enough to tell her that both of them had passed the exam. She took the cake out and got ready to celebrate. They both came out of the room with big smiles. Congratulations, both of you, Inko said as they started to have their celebration. Yagi-sensei. Izuku called out to All Might's emaciated form. All Might laughed. It's odd to hear you say that out loud. But I guess I need to get used to it. Where is Mel? Izuku asked, looking around, not seeing her. Oh, she went to get something to drink. Tell me, young Midoriya, is she mad at me for some reason? All Might said. Yes, in the acceptance letter, you kept delaying our result. Which is why she is a little pissed off, Izuku said. I guess I might have overdo it. All Might said. I don't know, I found it interesting, Izuku said with a smile. Melissa arrived in the meantime with the drink, gave one to Izuku and told her uncle she did not find anything for him. So why did you call me out here? Izuku asked. Just wanted to discuss a few things with both of you, All Might said. First, just so you know, I didn't tell everyone at school about my connection to you two. All Might confessed. The only people who I told are Principal Nizu and Recovery Girl, so if you are in trouble with OFA and you cannot find me, you can talk with them. All Might said. And also I wasn't one of the judges. So you two got into UA with your hard work, All Might said. That's good to know, Melissa said, but there is still the one problem. I can't control OFA at all. All Might looked at Melissa. That can't be helped. It's like if you asked a person who suddenly grew a tail to do a trick. They wouldn't even be able to control it. Wait, did you know that would happen? Melissa exclaimed. You are so smart yet, you could not see such an obvious result. Even a blind person could see that result, Izuku teased Melissa, for which she spilled his drink. Well, there wasn't any time, All Might said while pocking his forehead with his index. But it turned out all right. It turned out, All Might. Seriously? Melissa said. Well, I found it funny, All Might. Izuku said while smiling at him. All Might picked up the 2 empty cans of drink. Right now, your quirk is either all or nothing. One day, you'll learn how to control your output. Then you'll be able to adjust how much power you're using. All Might said. I just need control? Melissa asked happily. Just isn't a word I'd use lightly in this instance, Izuku commented. Though that is what is needed, All Might stated, you're overflowing with energy at the moment. With training, your body will hold it better. All Might squashed the cans into a compressed state. Then it's yours to command, he said in his buff form. Melissa gave All Might a determined look. All Might then deflated and looked towards Izuku. Don't worry, All Might. I will babysit her and make sure she is all right, Izuku said. I knew I could count on you, my boy, All Might said. Izzy, you have some nerves to insult me while I am standing right here, Melissa said, now looking pissed. Don't start a fight right now, you two, All Might said. That reminds me, during the selection process when we were looking through your file and found something interesting. Nizu sir did not see much issue but few teachers did. Could you tell me about it? All Might looked curiously, and also Melissa. Now there were a few things wrong in his file. Izuku was not sure which one he was referring to. Was it his school record, which was filled with the fight he had at school, of which only half was true, or was it his quirk registry part? Which part? He asked. The quirk registry part, All Might said. Oh. It's a stupid story, Izuku said, little embarrassed. So I was 4 years old. Me and my mom went to City Hall to get my quirk registered. I asked my mom to give the form to me because I wanted to fill it, so my mom took 2 forms and gave one to me. So while I was filling out the form, Mom went to the help desk for assistance. I got part where they asked what is the name of my quirk. Izuku looked a little more embarrassed. I wrote the name as Bob. Ha 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 ha. Melissa started laughing. Even All Might looked amused. Why Bob? All Might asked. I was a big fan of All Might, so I wanted an American name, and Bob was the only name I knew how to write, Izuku said. The second part, for which Mom went to ask for help, was what does your quirk do? Me, being smart, wrote Bob is Bob, and went and submitted it. Melissa was now laughing harder. Even All Might started to laugh a little. I don't know how, but my form was accepted. By the time my mom came back, my quirk registry was filled, Izuku explained. Why did your mother not change it later? All Might asked, now stopped laughing. When she understood what happened, she just laughed and said to keep it as it is. If there is a problem afterward, then we will change it, Izuku said. Melissa was still laughing at his story. Seeing Izuku also laughed at the stupid situation. By the way, Mel, what did you do for the quirk registration? He asked. Boost, she replied, still laughing a little. Huh. Bob is better, Izuku said. Now you two behave. All Might sensing an argument coming. Izuku, do you have tissues? Inko asked to her son. Yeah, Izuku replied while crouching and checking his backpack. And your handkerchief? Your hanky? Inko kept pressing. I have it. I'm going to be late. Izuku replied. I have to hurry. Izuku, Inko said. What is it? Izuku turned around a bit annoyed before leaving. Inko's eyes were now sparkling. You are going to be living in dorms now, and I will be lonely. Izuku gave his mom a big hug. You are saying it like I won't return. Whenever I get time I will come home, and we can have Katsudon. Izuku told his mother. Izuku, you're really cool, Inko said. Izuku smiled at his mom. I'll see you soon. And left for UA. Melissa had just arrived at UA. She was informed that her stuff would be kept in her assigned dorm room, and she had to go straight to class. Class 1A, 1A. Come on, where is it? Melissa asked, looking for his class. There. Melissa looked at the giant door. Man, this thing is huge. Are there giants here? She opened the door. She was greeted by the sight and sounds of that glasses boy from the exam, yelling at a blonde-haired boy, who was reclining in her seat with her feet on the desk. The seats were nearly full. Izzy was nowhere in sight. Let's start over. I'm ᴘᴇ'ʟ from the semi-private academy. He introduced himself, extending a hand to Bakugo. The blonde Pomeranian didn't seem very impressed or interested in shaking his hand. Huh? So you must think you're better than me. Bakugo sneered at him and elicited in a menacing growl, I'm gonna have fun tearing you a new one. Melissa did not want to get involved with whatever was happening. She just went to look for her seat. Seat number 19 was her seat, but she noticed there were 21 seats in class and Izuku was number 21. Oh, that blonde hair. Hello, Melissa-chan, ᴜᴘ exclaimed as she entered the class. Oh, Ochako, good morning, you are also in this class? Melissa asked, to which Ochako nodded. They both started to talk and failed to notice a yellow sleeping bag at the gate. If you're just here to make friends, then you can pack up your stuff now. a hobo said coming out of the sleeping bag. The class turned to stare as the man calmly took a sip from a jelly drink. It took you lot 9 seconds to calm down, the man stated in a monotone, quite irrational. He stood up, shedding the sleeping bag, revealing himself to be clothed in a black jumpsuit and a long scarf. I am ᴠᴜ-ᴛᴏ Izuku, your homeroom teacher. Now, he took out a blue UA gym uniform, put these on and head outside to our athletic field. The class didn't take long to head out the door. What, a quirk assessment test? Class 1A asked in unison. But orientation. We're going to miss it. Ochako said. If you really want to make the big leagues, you can't waste time on pointless ceremonies, Izuku stated. Here at UA, we're not tethered to traditions. That means I can run my class however I see fit. The students looked worried. You've been taking standardized tests most of your lives, Izuku stated, showing an app on his phone. But you never got to use your quirks in physical exams before. The country's still trying to pretend that we're all created equal by not letting those with the most power excel. It's not rational. One day, the Ministry of Education will learn. But Kogo, you managed to get the most points in the entrance exam. What was your farthest distance throw with a softball when you were in junior high? Izuku asked. 67 meters, I think, Katsuki said with a frown. Right. Try it with your quirk. Anything goes. Just stay in the circle. Izuku said. Go on. You're wasting our time. All right man, you asked for it, Katsuki said while stretching. I'll add a little heat to my pitch and drop their jaws. Katsuki thought while winding up. A huge explosion burst from his right hand, sending a softball with a tracking device flying in the air. Die! All of you need to know your maximum capabilities. It's the most rational way of figuring out your potential as a pro hero. Izuku said, raising his phone to show the score on the phone showing 705.2 meters. Whoa, 705 meters. Are you kidding me? A boy with a lightning symbol in his hair said. I want to go. That looks like fun. A pink-haired girl said excitedly. This is what I'm talking about. Using our quirks as much as we want. A boy with black hair said excitedly. So this looks like fun, huh? Izuku asked. You have 3 years here to become a hero. You think it's going to be games and playtime? Idiots. Today, you'll compete in 8 physical exams to gauge your potential. Whoever comes in last has none and will be expelled immediately. Immediate expulsion? A test? Oh crap, not good. Melissa thought as she looked at her hand. I can only use OFA at either 0 or 100% right now. I don't have any control yet. Like I said, I get to decide how this class runs, Izuku said, putting his hair up and showing a manic look in his eyes. Understand? If that's a problem for you, you can head home right now. A huge test on the first day of school? What the crap am I gonna do? And Izzy, where are you? Melissa thought, and Izuku looked at the students with a smug expression. Izuku had just arrived at UA. He did not have time to go to his class and keep his stuff. He was running straight for the auditorium when the orientation was going to take place. He arrived just in time and found where first-year hero students were sitting. Did I arrive early? I don't see Mel anywhere. Izuku thought as he found a seat. The orientation started. Good morning, student, it's me, Nizu said. The one who could be a mouse, or a dog, or a bear, though the only important thing is, I'm the principal. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you, Nizu said. Izuku is not sure how, but he somehow gave his full attention to the principal's speech. Usually, he would start listening to music, but right now Izuku was very interested in what he was saying, maybe because Nizu was a pro hero. Then Hound Dog came to speak, and said he was the school counselor, which Izuku did not know, and also started to tell the new rules, which were set because of the dorms. Orientation was now over, but Izuku was still a little worried that he did not meet anyone from 1A. All the students he met were from 1B, who were all very nice. standing around thinking about what to do next. His quirk told him a heat signature was approaching him, so he turned around to see who it was. It seems you are in trouble, Mr. Midoriya. Izuku turned to see the principal was there. Hello sir, you know my name? Izuku asked. Of course, I know your name and I know everyone at school. I'm the principal after all, Nizu said. So cool, he thought. Yes sir, as you can see I am not sure where my classmates are right now. Izuku said. Nizu thought for a second. You are in the 1A, right? Nizu asked. Izuku nodded. It seems someone doesn't understand the importance of orientation, Nizu said. What do you mean, sir? Izuku asked. Nothing you should be concerned about. The school is over for today. You can return to the dorms, and don't worry about what your teacher said. I will handle it, Nizu said. Okay, thank you, sir, Izuku said as he left. He sensed me coming behind him, Nizu thought. He was interested in this student as he was the only one who, despite having a quirk, passed the exam quirkless. I will watch your career with great interest, Nizu said and left to deal with Aizawa. Izuku left UA ground as he had to collect something that he had been hunting for a long time. Melissa was clutching her finger waiting for Aizawa-sensei to announce the result. Ochako was rubbing circles on her back to make her feel good. Aizawa pressed a button on the device and a hologram appeared showing the scores of everyone in the class. Melissa opened his eyes and looked at the scores. I'm in 17th place. The hologram disappeared. And I was lying. No one here is going home, Aizawa said. Except for the kid who did not show up. The students looked at him in shock. Aizawa gave the students a manic grin. That was a rational deception to make sure you gave it your all in the tests. Melissa looked white as a ghost. Ochako looked mortified. Tenya's glasses broke. Melissa, Aizawa walked over to the girl, handing her a note. Take this and go have the old lady fix you up. Things are going to be tougher tomorrow when your actual training begins. Make sure you're prepared. Melissa was hunched forward. I'm so tired, she groaned, looking like she needed sleep. We are going to reach the dorms soon, don't worry, Ochako said, walking beside her as 1A was moving towards the dorms. When the student arrived at the dorms, the place was normal compared to the entire school to some students, but for some students it was the most amazing place. After the introduction was over, everyone went to their dorms to change and get fresh. Ochako was loving her new life. She had a big room all to herself and even made a new friend in Melissa, and she came back after changing her clothes to interact with her classmate, but was met with a worried Melissa looking at her phone. What's wrong? You look worried, Ochako asked. Melissa looked up at her and said, I am trying to contact my friend. He is also in our class but did not arrive yet. He is also not picking up his phone. But there are already 20 students in our class, right? Ochako questioned. Yes, he is number 21, she replied. I am sure he will arrive. Maybe he is talking to sensei about messing class today. I hope that's the case. A pink-haired girl listening to this asked, Is he like your boyfriend? What? No, me and Izzy are friends, Ashido, Melissa said with a blush. Call me Mina, and Izzy a nickname, Ashido said with a grin. It's not like that, okay, Melissa said, trying to defuse the situation. After some time the entire class had come down from their room and now were sitting in the conman room. Today the dinner was going to be provided by Lunch Rush, which tasted amazing. After the dinner, the girls and boys were sitting separately talking with each other, and some antisocial people went to their room to rest. The 7 girls were talking about their life-like hobbies. They were having so much fun that they did not notice the door open, and someone entered. So Melissa, what do you like most about living in Japan compared to I-Island? Toru asked. The girls had decided to use their first names with each other. The food, all the heroes and people, she answered. Does Izzy also come in those people? Mina asked. Melissa just gave a glare. At least tell us about our number 21, Mina said. About Izzy? Melissa asked and saw the girls nod. If I had to describe Izzy in one word, it would be annoying. Melissa said. He thinks he is funny. He is not that smart. He is always trying to get me in trouble and is always smiling for some reason. Sometimes I do wonder why I even became friends with him. Melissa suddenly felt a hit on her head. She turned around clutching her head. First of all, I am funny. Second, I am at least smarter than you. Third and fourth points were correct, and we became friends because you fell for my handsome face. Izuku, standing behind her, said. Izzy, Melissa shouted. Where were you? Outside, buying stuff, he replied. Melissa stood up ready to shout at him, but he ignored her and looked at the other girls. Sorry for the late intro. The name is Izuku Midoriya. I hope we can be good friends, and thank you for taking care of this idiot for me. Izuku said. Hey, I remember you from the exam. Ochako Uraraka, by the way, Ochako said. Glad I made an impression, Izuku said. He was then turned around, now looking at Melissa. What were you doing outside all this time? Melissa asked angrily. Hey, don't get mad. Izuku then reached down into his back and pulled something out. Mel, right now you are looking at a copy of Injustice Hero Fighter, Izuku said. I finally found it after hunting for a very long time. Come on, let's play, Izuku said with a smile. This is the reason you did not come to class, Izzy I-. Did you forget we can scan ourselves into this game? Izuku said. I am going to punch your stupid face into the ground, Melissa said, getting ready to play the game. While Melissa was setting up the console in the conman room, Izuku asked. This is a 4-player game. We still are 2 players shot. Anyone wants to play? Me, I want to play, dude. Denki Kaminari is the name, Kaminari said. I want to play also, Mina said. Sure, let her set it up and then I can destroy you, Izuku said. You are going down, dude, Kaminari said. By the end of the day, they played that game for 2 hours while rotating players. Call it skill or luck, but Ochako, who was handling a controller for the first, won all the matches and was crowned the queen. While Izuku was crowned the king, only lost to Ochako. Melissa explained to Izuku what the class was doing during orientation, while Izuku told them what happened at the orientation. Everything considered, today was a good day, but the real challenge will begin tomorrow. At 7 in the morning, Aizawa Shoto was walking towards the principal office. The principal had called for him. Usually, he would be annoyed having a meeting this early, but he also wanted to talk to the principal about the Midoriya who was absent yesterday, so that he would not complain today. He reached the office, knocked, and went inside. Good morning, Shota, Nizu said. Morning, sir. What is the reason for this meeting? Aizawa said as he sat down. So the reason I called you is to ask, why did you think it was okay for 1A and yourself to skip orientation? Nizu asked while he started to brew some tea. Sir, I was conducting a test to check if the students were fit for the hero course, so I had them skip it, Aizawa said. So what you are saying is that the entrance exam I have set is flawed, and the orientation I told everyone to attend is a pointless ceremony? Nizu asked. What? No, sir. That's not what I said, Aizawa said. I know what you said, Nizu said. I am aware that the entrance exam is not perfect. Nothing in life is perfect, and sometimes students who should not become a hero pass. I don't have a problem with the test you took. The problem is with when you took it. Do you understand? Nizu said as he sipped on his tea. Yes, sir. I know we allow teachers to run their classes as they see fit, but there are limits to that freedom. You cannot ignore an order from your principal. If you wanted to conduct the test, you could have done it after the orientation, Nizu said. I understand, sir, it won't happen again, Aizawa said. And you can throw those expulsion papers of Midoriya in the dustbin, Nizu said, looking at the paper in Aizawa's hand. Sir, with all due respect, this kid was absent on the first day. I will stop you right there. Midoriya Izuku was sitting alone in the orientation, waiting for his classmate. He was following the schedule that was provided. I will not expel a kid for following the rules, Nizu said. But Dismissed, Nizu said as he finished his tea. Aizawa stood up and walked out. He knew there was no arguing with the principal when he was not drinking his tea. He looked at the papers and threw them in the dustbin as if they were useless now. Ochako arrived at the kitchen to have her breakfast. She was still a little tired, she slept late because of the game. She had no idea how she won all the rounds, but she won't complain. She was crowned the queen, and as for her king, he was making a bowl of cereal for himself. "Morning, everyone," Ochako said with a smile, while everyone responded to her greeting. Melissa also arrives behind her. "Morning, Ochako," Melissa said. "Hey, Izzy, what is for breakfast?" she said, looking at Izuku. "Cereal and nothing else," Izuku said. "Can you get me one bowl? Ochako, do you want one?" Melissa asked. "I can take it by myself," Ochako said. "Izzy can make 2 bowls." "It's no problem," Melissa said. Ochako thought of saying something but saw Midoriya already making 2 bowls. So she just sat with Melissa to talk, and in time Midoriya arrived. 2 bowls of cereal. "One for the evil queen," Izuku said as he gave one to Melissa, "and one for my queen," Izuku said as he gave the other to Ochako. Ochako giggled a little with a little blush. "Thank you, my king," Ochako said, playing along. Melissa just rolled her eyes and started to eat her breakfast. After eating his breakfast, Izuku went to get ready for school. When he came back down, he saw Melissa and Ochako standing in the common room ready to leave. "Were you 2 waiting for me?" Izuku asked. "Yes," Ochako said. "Wanted to make sure you reach class this time," Melissa said as they left the dorms. They arrived 10 minutes before the class. Izuku went and kept his bag in his seat. He sat behind the black-haired girl. As there was still time before class, he went to talk to Melissa to pass the time. While talking with her, he heard the door open and his quirk flared. "Deku." It was such a nice start to the day. Until now, Izuku thought, turning around to see Bakugo. "Morning, Katsuki," Izuku said. "Deku, what the hell are you doing in my class?" Katsuki asked angrily. "Could you not shout this early?" "It's annoying," Izuku replied. "Answer me, Deku," Bakugo snarled. "I am also in this class, Katsuki," Izuku said, knowing Katsuki won't shut up. "Izzy, do you know this guy?" Melissa asked. She was a little annoyed because Bakugo was calling Izuku Deku. "Yes, we were classmates for 3 years in middle school. I've known him since we were babies," Izuku said as he looked around, seeing the class looking at him. Not wanting to stretch the matter, he tried to ignore him. "Just ignore him, he's not important," Izuku said. "Don't you fucking look down on me, Deku," Bakugo said as he approached and held Izuku's collar. "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" Melissa shouted and stood up. "Bakugo, this is not how a UA student should behave," Ida said as he also stood up. "Shut up. This bast-" Bakugo stooped as he felt Izuku grab his hand. "Katsuki, should I remind you, this is not Aldera where you can get away with this behavior. You are no longer the top dog, you are just a dog now," Izuku said as he made Katsuki release his collar. Before Katsuki could say anything, the door opened. "Homeroom is starting, get into your seat," Aizawa said as he entered. Katsuki looked at Izuku and said, "This is not over, Deku," and sat in his seat. Izuku also went to his seat, now annoyed that his morning was ruined. Melissa looked at him with a worried expression, even Ochako, and a few other classmates. The rest of the day till lunch was normal. Present Mike came to teach English. Izuku was sure Mike-sensei had at least 10 energy drinks before coming to class. Ectoplasm was already Izuku's favorite teacher as he taught science. Then came at midnight. The first thought that came to him was how she convinced UA to let her wear her hero suit, and the second was why she thought it was a good idea. Izuku thought Midnight Sensei would just flirt around, but she had a great lesson for them. By the time lunch arrived, he was already tired, but the thought of having a lunch made by a hero gave him a little energy. He ordered curry as Katsudon was not available today. He was looking for a place where his friends were. He found Melissa sitting with Ochako, Tsu, and Ida. They started eating when Izuku spoke up. By the way, Ida, I wanted to thank you for trying to stop Katsuki earlier, Izuku said. No problem, Midoriya. He was acting like a delinquent, Ida said. Yeah, what was that jerk's problem calling you names? Ochako said. I should have punched that guy, Melissa said, mimicking a boxer and startling Ida. Violence is not the answer, Ida said, fixing his glasses. In simple terms, we don't like each other, Izuku said. He was so angry, just because he does not like you, Kero, Tsu asked. Azui-san, about that. Call me Tsu, Tsu said. Okay, you can also call me Izuku, Izuku said. Tsu, he was not angry at that moment. That is how he behaves regularly. All that shouting was normal? Melissa asked while Izuku nodded. What did you even do to make him not like you? Ochako asked. I don't know, Izuku said. I should have punched that guy, Melissa said again. After that, Ida gave a big lecture to Melissa until lunch was over. I am here. All Might boomed. Coming through the door like a hero, All Might exclaimed, leaning through the door. The students gasped in surprise and awe. I can't believe it's All Might, Denki said in surprise. So he is a teacher here. This year is gonna be awesome, Ijiro said excitedly. Tsuyu had her finger on her cheek. Hey look, is he wearing his Silver Age costume? All Might marched toward the podium dramatically. I'm getting goosebumps. It's so retro, Mashireo said. All Might's shine is never-ending, Yuga said. Welcome to the most important class at UA High. Think of it as Hiroinji 101. All Might's voice boomed. Here you will learn the basics of being a pro and what it means to fight in the name of good. Let's get into it. Today's lesson will pull no punches, as he pulled out a white card with the word battle written on it. Fight training, Katsuki said, grinning maniacally. All Might wasn't done yet. But one of the keys to being a hero is looking good. He pointed to a wall where built-in racks holding onto suitcases with the seat numbers of the students. These were designed for you based on your Quirk registration forms and the request you sent in before school started. Costumes, Izuku said. Get yourselves suited up and then meet me at Training Ground Beta. All Might said. Melissa was excited about the class. Her dad had sent her hero costume with some support items. She wore a black bodysuit, a utility belt with a support item her dad sent, and her full gauntlet which she designed. She walked out with the girls and moved towards Ground Beta. Most of the boys had already arrived. Izuku and Ida were missing at the moment. They both arrived and she understood why they were late. Ida looked like a robo-knight and Izuku wore a black jumpsuit with a few green strips, a protective pad on his knee, a hood that made him look like a rabbit, and he had a baseball bat with him. Now that you're ready, it's time for combat training. All Might's voice boomed as the students gathered in front of him in a group. Tenya raised his hand. Sir, this is the fake city from our entrance exam. Does that mean we'll be conducting urban battles again? Tenya asked. Not quite. I'm gonna move you 2 steps ahead. Most of the villain fights you see on the news take place outside. However, statistically speaking, run-ins with the dastardly evildoers take place indoors. Think about it, backroom deals, home invasions, secret underground lairs. Truly intelligent criminals stay hidden in the shadows. All Might explained. Well, in this training exercise, you'll be split into teams of good guys and bad guys and fight 2-on-2 indoor battles. All Might said. Isn't this a little advanced? Tsuyu asked. This exercise was given to me by your homeroom teacher as I am still new. He said that the best training is what you get on the battlefield. All Might said, but remember, you can't just punch a robot this time. You're dealing with actual people now. Sir, will you be the one deciding who wins? Momo asked. How much can we hurt the other team? Katsuki asked. Do we need to worry about the losers getting expelled like earlier? Ochako asked nervously. Will you be splitting us up based on chance or comparative skill? Tenya asked. Isn't this cape tray chic? Yuga asked, showing off his sparkling cape. I wasn't done talking. All Might said in frustration with a clenched fist. Listen up, All Might said as he opened up a script. A script? Melissa thought. The situation is this. The villains have hidden a bomb somewhere in their hideout. The heroes must try to foil their plan. To do that, the good guys either have to catch the evildoers or recover the bomb. Likewise, the bad guys succeed if they retrieve their payload or capture the heroes. All Might said. This is just an exercise, so do not try to hurt your opponent too much. You don't have to worry about getting expelled. Your cape looks good and we'll choose teams by drawing lot. Isn't there a better way? Tenya asked. Think about it. Pros often have to team up with heroes from other agencies on the spot. So maybe that's the reason we're seeing that here. Izuku explained. Life is a random series of events, Tenya said. He bowed to All Might. Excuse my rudeness. No sweat. All Might said as he turned around. Let's draw. Team A Ochako and Melissa. Team B Mizo and Shoto. Team C Minoru and Momo. Team D Katsuki and Tenya. Team E Mina and Yuga. Team F Rikido and Koji. Team G Denki and Kyoka. Team H ᴡᴇʟᴜ and Tsu. Team I Mashireo and Toru. Team J Hanta, Ijiro and Izuku. Tenya raised his hand. Sir, Team J has 3 people, will it not be unfair to the other teams? Sometimes you will be outnumbered while fighting. The team that has to fight them has to figure out a way to deal with that situation, All Might said. Ochako looked excited about being on a team with Melissa. Wow, what are the chances? We're a team. Let's do our best and win this exercise, Melissa said with a smile. All Might put his hands inside the villain and hero lot boxes, trying to fish out the first teams to start the training. I declare that the first teams to fight will be these guys. He took out 2 balls from the boxes labeled D and E. Team A will be the heroes. Team D will be the villains. Everyone else can head to the monitoring room to watch. Good luck you two, Izuku said with a smile. Thanks, Izzy, thank you. Tenya walked into the room with the fake weapon. Even though this is training, it pains me to be aligned with criminal behavior. So this is the weapon we must protect, Tenya said, walking up to the fake weapon and knocking on it. Fake, of course. While Tenya was busy inspecting the fake bomb, Katsuki was lost in his world. That Deku thinks he is better than me. I will see how he will smile when I roast his bitch alive, Katsuki thought with a sadistic smirk. You think they expect us to remember this building's floor plan? It's so big, Ochako said as she and Melissa were going over the layout of the building. You know, All Might is just as cool in person as he is on television. I'm glad he's not threatening us with some kind of punishment like Mr. Aizawa. We can relax. You got your wish, by the way. Wish? Melissa asked, confused. Punching that jerk, Ochako said. Oh. You are right, Melissa said with a smile. Let's begin the indoor combat training. Team A and Team D, your time starts now. All Might's voice boomed through the loudspeaker. In the monitoring room, All Might and the rest of Class A were watching the combat training on a giant screen. Pay attention, kids, think about what you would do. All Might instructed the students. Melissa, in this class, you're just another student. I'll grade you as I would anyone else without playing favorites. All Might thought as he put on an earpiece with a clipboard in his hand. Melissa and Ochako snuck in through a window. And just like that, we're in, Ochako said quietly. Be careful, there are a lot of blind spots, Melissa said. Melissa knew she could not depend on her quirk. She was confident in her hand-to-hand combat ability as she had trained before with Izuku. She can't risk using her quirk. If she did, she'd probably end up killing someone. Bakugo suddenly appeared, leaping from around a corner and charging at Melissa. The black-costumed hero in training dove out of the way from the extended arm and explosion from Bakugo's surprise attack, hooking Ochako with her arm and getting her clear as well. Ochako, you okay? I'm fine, thanks, she said. Bakugo waved the dust from his explosion away, standing tall and looking down on the 2 heroes. A big gouge had been torn into the concrete wall from his quirk's power. "What's the matter, bitch?" he taunted. "Afraid to stand up and fight me? In the observation room. A sneak attack, Bakugo? What kind of man pulls cheap crap like that?" Ijiro asked. "It's a viable strategy. He's playing the part, acting like a true villain," All Might explained. "It didn't work. Melissa and Ochako dodged it," Mina praised. Back at the building, Katsuki ran towards Melissa, pulling his right hand back. "I won't hurt you so bad that they'll have to stop the fight. Just close," he said. Melissa grabbed Katsuki's arm. "Impossible. How'd she know?" Katsuki thought. Melissa then tripped him, making him lose his balance, and then slamming him into the ground. The slam surprised everyone in the monitoring room except for All Might and Izuku, All Might who taught her and Izuku who was the test subject. "I won't hurt you so bad that they'll have to stop the fight. Just close," Melissa said it this time. "You bitch," Katsuki said, standing up. "Bakugo, come in. Give me a status report." "Where are you?" Tenya ordered. "Just shut up and defend the weapon," Katsuki ordered. "I've got more important things to worry about." "Are you forgetting what our mission is?" Tenya asked. He hung up on me. "This isn't the time for radio silence. We're supposed to be partners." In the observation room. "Hey, who's Bakugo talking to?" Ijiro asked. "I'm not hearing anything. Can we get any sound with this video?" All Might pointed to his earpiece. "He's got a radio in his ear so he can talk to his partner. I gave it to him before the match started along with a map of the building. Also, this is a roll of capture tape. Wrapping this around your opponent means you've apprehended them and they're out for the rest of the exercise. So there's a 15-minute timer and the good guys have no idea what floor the bomb is hidden on, right?" Mina asked. "Correct," All Might stated. "Then the heroes are clearly at a disadvantage here, a big one," Mina pointed out. "Real pro heroes have to outwit villains daily. Even when the odds aren't in our favor, we fight." All Might boomed, hoisting his arm up. Back at the building. "Ochako, let's stick to the plan," Melissa said as Ochako ran off in the other direction. "Ballsy move," Katsuki taunted. "Think you can take me alone?" Katsuki blasted forward and tried to plant a kick, which Melissa blocked. He looked at her in shock. "She's using the capture tape." Katsuki let off another blast to avoid the tape. Melissa started running away. "Get back here!" Katsuki yelled after him. The ash blonde growled in frustration and ran after her. Melissa and Ochako's plan was simple. While Melissa distracted Katsuki as they figured that he would dash for them as the round started, and Ochako would try to sneak up on Tenya and capture the bomb. This was decided because Melissa was confident in her 1v1 combat skill while Ochako was confident she could handle Tenya. Melissa was trying to think of a plan that would allow her to get the upper hand. "Stop hiding!" Katsuki's yell snapped Melissa out of his thoughts. "Come out and face me, you coward. This guy has some real anger issues," Melissa thought. In the observation room, Izuku watched the battle. He knew in a hand-to-hand fight Melissa had a higher chance, but he also knew Katsuki was a natural fighter and would try to fight at a distance with her. He saw Katsuki shouting in the hallway of the building with a livid expression. He could tell Katsuki was going to try extra hard to beat her because she was his friend. He just hoped that Melissa and Ochako would win this and come back with minimal injuries, and Melissa punches Katsuki in the face. Back at the building, Ochako found the bomb room, which was being guarded by Tenya. "Found it. Now I just have to tell Melissa where it is and try my best to stay out of sight until I get a chance to strike," she thought when the engine hero spoke out. "Bakugo definitely has a villainous side, and that's exactly what we need to succeed in this mission. I need to temporarily devote myself to criminal intent. Yes, I won't fail this trial and risk bringing shame down on the Iida family name." Tenya clenched his fist. "That means I must now embrace evil. To become a hero. Behold, I am the personification of villainy." Tenya said as he did a horrible villainous laugh. Ochako always hated how easy was it to make her laugh, and right now this quality was the reason she got caught by Tenya. "ᴜᴜ, is that you?" Tenya asked in his villain's voice. Ochako did not move, still trying to hide. "ᴜᴜ, I can see your figure hiding behind that pillar," Tenya said in his villain's voice. Ochako stepped away from the pillar. "Hey! Did you just call me fat?" Ochako said. Now flustered Tenya said, "No, I did not mean that, ᴜᴜ, I apologize." He gave her a bow. As he looked up he saw Ochako running towards him. He reacted, picking up the bomb and moving away. "Damn it! I almost had you," Ochako said. "I almost fell for your trap, hero," Tenya said in his villain's voice once again. "I knew you would come here alone the instant Bakugo ran off by himself. Your quirk allows you to float anything that you touch, but I prepared for that by hiding every object in this room for you to have nothing to use against me. Do gooder," Tenya said as he pointed at Ochako. "My dastardly tricks have rendered you helpless. You blundered, hero." "He is playing the part," Ochako said. Melissa? I'm here. How's it going?" "Ida knows that I'm here." "Sorry," Ochako said through her comms. "But now he's monologuing." "Where are you?" "Near the middle of the 5th floor. Melissa looked up. "Right above me. We probably don't have much time left now. We have to finish this fast or they win," Melissa said. "I'm all loaded up," she heard Katsuki say. "What does that mean?" Izuku asked. "Why aren't you using your quirk? Don't tell me you're underestimating me, bitch," Katsuki shouted with a maniacal look in his eyes. "I have no choice. I have to face him right now," Melissa thought in determination. "I am here, villain," Melissa came out and said. There were a few things that you should not say to Katsuki Bakugo, and one of the things on that huge list was calling him a villain, and being called a villain by Deku's bitch made him even more angry. Bakugo steadied his left arm and pointed his gauntlet at Melissa. Izuku saw those gauntlets and understood why he had them. "All Might! Stop him!" Izuku shouted as the class looked at him. "Young Bakugo! Don't do it! You'll kill her!" All Might shouted in the comms. "She'll be fine as long as she dodges," Katsuki exclaimed with a maniacal look in his eyes. He took out the pin and a giant explosion was released from his gauntlet, destroying the walls towards Melissa. The explosion made the building quake. Tenya and Ochako felt it from the floor above them. Everyone in the monitoring room felt it as well. Come in, Melissa," All Might called. "I will kill that bastard if something happens," Izuku said. "Is that even allowed?" Melissa asked in disbelief. "Melissa, are you okay?" Ochako asked into her comms as she looked at Tenya, who was distracted. "Bakugo, answer me," Tenya asked. "What is going on down there? Did you cause that blast?" "Now's my chance," Ochako thought as she ran forward. "If I can claim that weapon, that means we win." Tenya noticed and ran towards her. "Not so fast, hero." Ochako used her quirk on herself and jumped. "I just have to touch the weapon. In one move, this will all be over." "Since when can she make herself float?" Tenya asked. Ochako put her hands together and yelled, "Release! This special move is hard, but it's worth it," Ochako thought as she was a few centimeters from touching the fake weapon. But before Ochako could touch it, exhaust pipes came out of Tenya's legs, as he used his quirk to secure the weapon and rushed off with it to the other side of the room, keeping it from her reach. "Admirable attempt, but your quirk's no threat if you can't touch anything. I can easily keep this weapon out of your reach until time runs out," Tenya said. Melissa put her hand to her comms. "Come in, what's the situation?" "It's not good," Ochako exclaimed in panic. Katsuki looked unhinged. "Are you ignoring me again? I'll get your attention." "All Might, isn't this getting out of hand?" Izuku asked. All Might thought for a second and called out into the mic, "Bakugo, use that stored-up power again on your classmate and I'll stop this fight. Your team will lose." "Huh!" Katsuki exclaimed in shock. To employ such a strong attack indoors is inviting the destruction of the stronghold you should be protecting. All Might stated. That's a poor strategy whether you're a hero or a villain. The penalty would be a massive loss of points. Fine then. Katsuki yelled out as he rocketed towards Melissa with his explosions. We'll fight hand to hand. The pillar by the window. Get there now. Melissa ordered Ochako when she noticed Katsuki heading towards her. If he is going to fight hand to hand, Mel will have the upper hand, Izuku thought. It's no good. I can't dodge this. I'll have to counterattack. Melissa punched forward, but before it could land, Katsuki blasted an explosion into the former's face, vaulting over her. Melissa noticed this and ducked. What was that move? Ijiro asked. Shoto narrowed his eyes slightly. He doesn't come off as a guy with a strategy, but he's quite intelligent. Ijiro turned to Shoto. What are you talking about? The redhead asked. He changed his trajectory while in midair using a blast that doubled as a smokescreen. Shoto explained, but the girl is also good at reading her opponent's move-like required skills. Why won't you use your damn quirk against me? Still think you can stop me without it? Katsuki asked. I don't need it to defeat someone like you, Melissa said, hoping he would charge her. Katsuki ran towards Melissa. She could see he was going for a right hook. She was going to buy Izuku a meal for teaching her this move. Melissa took the blast head-on and grabbed his arm. Melissa did a judo flip on Katsuki and created distance between them. You bitch! Katsuki stood up but felt something missing from his hand. Looking at Melissa, he saw his other gauntlet, which was now pointing at him while Melissa gave a sinister smile. Fire it, Mel! Izuku shouted. Young Melissa! Don't do it! All Might shouted in the comms. He'll be fine as long as he dodges, Melissa said. Katsuki saw this and tried to dodge it. When he heard, You are lucky I am trying to be a hero, Melissa said as she pointed right above her head. Ochako now! Melissa shouted. Right! Ochako said as she grabbed onto a pillar. Katsuki understood what was going to happen. He tried to stop it, but it was too late. Melissa pulled the pin. The explosion caved the floors and ceiling above it, thus destroying the structure of the building. What's happening? Tenya asked in shock. Ochako used her quirk on the pillar she grabbed and used it. This is it. Sorry, Ida. She swung the pillar like a baseball bat while shouting, improvised special move. The comet home run, and the debris shot forward towards Tenya. In the name of villainy, I demand that you stop this. Tenya shouted. While Tenya was distracted by the debris flying at him, Ochako jumped across the chasm. She called out, Release! While in midair, grabbing hold of the fake bomb and saying, I got it. Did I not say, I don't need a quirk to defeat you? Melissa said, looking at Katsuki. All Might announced, the hero team wins. In the monitoring room, the giant screen showed that Team A won while Team D lost. Despite the results, the MVP of this exercise is young Ida. All Might announced. Tenya turned to look at All Might before giving a shocked huh? Shouldn't it be one of the heroes instead since they're the winners? Tsuyu asked. All Might hummed in approval at the question. Valid question. Why didn't I choose one of the two? Who has a guess? He asked, holding up his hand. Momo raised her hand. Sir, I can tell you why. Ida embraced this challenge. He was the only one truly adapted to his assigned role. I'll explain. Bakugo's judgment was clouded by a personal grudge against Melissa. As you pointed out earlier, launching a large-scale attack indoors was a foolish move. It could have been disastrous. Similarly, Melissa's plan was also poorly thought out, considering the amount of damage she did to the building. Not smart. Technically the hero team won, yes, but they took advantage of the fact that this was training. They didn't respect the spirit of the trial. Momo finished her analysis. Yes, well, you overlooked a few things. Young Ida could have relaxed a little bit in the exercise, but otherwise, you nailed it. The hero finished in acknowledgement with a thumbs up. One should always start with the basics and develop themselves wholeheartedly to learning. That's the only real way to become a top hero, Momo stated with self-pride. Now then, time to blow this joint, All Might said, standing behind the lot. Let's move on to the next match. Think about everything we saw and discussed as you tackle this training for yourself. Match 2. Team B will be our heroes, and Team I will be the villains, All Might announced. The students started to make their way to the next site. Izuku went to congratulate his friends. Tenya was not injured. Ochako had an upset stomach and Melissa hurt her hand a little. Most of the recoil from the blast was absorbed by the full gauntlet. Izuku and the gang were now watching the second fight, which was not as exciting as the first one. It was over in a matter of minutes. The 4 students came back to the room. Now then, would anyone like to suggest who the MVP of this match was? All Might asked the assembled group. Momo raised her hand in answer. ᴡᴇ'ʟ? Todoroki is the MVP for this round, Momo said. Todoroki was fast and accurate in the use of his quirk. He captured the villains in a matter of minutes and secured the weapon. Todoroki did launch a large-scale attack, but he managed to reduce the damage he caused to the surrounding. Toru and Ojiro did not do anything regarding the trial. Shuji did find the bomb with his quirk, but it was Todoroki who did most of the work. This is the reason I think Todoroki is the MVP, Momo explained. Are you stupid? Izuku asked, looking at Momo. Momo turned to look at Izuku, before giving out an offended, "Excuse me? Young Midoriya. If you have something to share please do, but don't insult your classmate," All Might lectured. Sorry All Might, I was just shocked at how wrong she is regarding this match, Izuku said. Care to explain your thinking? All Might asked. I think there should not be an MVP for this round. I do agree with her assessment of Hagakure, Ojiro, and Shuji and that it. Last round she criticized the hero team that they didn't respect the spirit of the trial, but for this round, she forgot that. All Might, when heroes do this kind of raid, do they have all the info about the villain? Izuku asked. Never, there is always something that gets missed. After all, no one is perfect, All Might stated. So Todoroki freezing the entire building not knowing everything is a wrong move, Izuku said. We knew there was a bomb and 2 villains and acted accordingly, Todoroki said. What if the villains had a hostage that you did not know about and froze? Izuku countered. That's just a what if, it is not applicable here, Momo said. Okay, let's forget about what ifs and focus on what happened. Katsuki, Izuku said. What? Katsuki asked, annoyed. I know you don't want to be here anymore, but I wanted to ask you, as you are knowledgeable about explosives, what would happen if you rapidly freeze a bomb and then heat it back to room temperature? Izuku asked. Katsuki looked annoyed but said. Depends entirely on what explosive powder is present in the bomb. Some have to maintain above a certain temperature to keep them dry, otherwise they become volatile. Some have to maintain below a certain temperature to keep them from drying out too much, otherwise they become volatile. We also have to be wary of temperatures too low causing crystallization, which can cause rapid energy gain as the temperature increases and ice crystals melt. The result could be anything from absolutely nothing to unplanned explosion, and everything in between. The only information All Might gave us is that it is a bomb and nothing else. So not only did Todoroki put himself at risk, but everyone in the bomb's radius. Like she said last round, the hero team won, but they took advantage of the fact that this was training. They didn't respect the spirit of the trial. That's why I think there should not be an MVP for this round, Izuku said. All Might thought for a bit and said, if we judge it on the basis of a training exercise, young Yaoyorozu's explanation would have been correct, but as the first match was judged on the basis that it was a real scenario, not a training, we will judge this match with the same basis. Hence young Midoriya is right, All Might declared. Momo felt disappointed as she made an error in her judgment while Izuku looked proud. Let's not use any more time and move on to the next match. Match 3. Team J will be our heroes, and Team C will be the villains. All Might announced. What are the chances? Izuku thought as he looked at his opponent. This is going to be a 3v2 match. The villain team needs to prepare accordingly, All Might advised. Thank you, sir, Momo said. If you want a handicap, we will be happy to provide it. You two look like you would need a handicap to have a chance to win, Izuku said, trying to provoke them. We don't need your handicap, we are fine without it, Minato said. If I act cool and do well, I can get all the girls. Yes, we do not require a handicap. Let's go, Minato, Momo said, moving out of the room. Yes, it's already working, she agreed with me, Minato thought as he followed her. Izuku and his team also left the room. Any plans? Zyro asked. We go and locate the bomb, capture the villain and win, Kirishima said. That's not a good plan, dude, Zyro said. No, it's a good plan, Izuku said. We just need to add a few things to it. Like? Zyro asked. Using your quirk, can you climb to the top floor? Izuku asked. Yes, I can, Zyro said. Can you also pull us up using your quirk? Izuku asked. I can, Zyro said, understanding what the plan was. Good, then you two will enter from the top floor, where the bomb probably is present, while I make noise at the bottom floors. Izuku said. How do you know where the bomb will be? Kirishima asked. Taking a guess based on the last 2 rounds, Izuku said as Kirishima nodded. While they were making their plan, Momo and Minato were busy laying traps in the building. They knew head-on they would lose, so they had to capture at least one of them to increase the chance of their victory. Minato covered the stairs with his quirk to stop anyone from passing through. Momo made sensors and placed them on the door, windows, and hallway. She was not going to let anyone enter the room. Okay, let's begin. Hero team, you can enter the building, All Might's voice boomed through the loudspeaker. Izuku entered the building and started to hit the doors with his baseball bat to make noise while using his quirk to absorb the heat from the surroundings and then release it in the form of steam to burn the purple ball he found. Try to be as quiet as possible and watch out for traps, Izuku said into his comms. Yes, Zyro said as he was pulling up Kirishima. One of them is on the ground floor trying to reach the first floor, Momo said into her comms as she was monitoring the radar. I am not sure where the other 2 are. As long as I am here, you don't have to worry. They will not get past my balls, Minato said. Okay, be careful, Momo said, not liking how he framed that sentence. She is worried about me, Minato thought with a smile. Clang clank. Momo could hear these sounds coming from below, they were loud and irritating her. Momo was still worried about not being able to locate the other 2, but she would guard the bomb for now. Izuku reached the first floor. He encountered lots of traps from sensors to caltrops. Did you locate the bomb? Izuku asked. Yes, Zyro said as he hung upside down from the building and looked through a window. As you guessed, it's on the top floor, Zyro whispered into his comms. How does it look? Izuku asked. Some caltrops, sensor, and purple ball, not sure what those do? And the girl is guarding it, not sure where the purple guy went, Zyro said as Kirishima pulled him up. It does not matter where he is right now, and the purple balls will stick to you and will make it harder to move, Izuku informed. Okay, Kirishima, you remember the plan, right? Izuku asked. Yes. Okay, execute when you are ready, Izuku said as he started hitting anything that would make noise. Clang clank. Clang clank. Clang clank. What is he trying to do by making so much noise? Make our ears bleed, Minato said, more focused on trying to talk to Momo. Momo noticed the one person that her sensors picked up was running from one end to the other. I am not sure, he dash. Bang crash. Momo turned around to see a hole in the roof. What the dash? Before she could comprehend what was going on, Zyro swung in and landed on the bomb. Mission accomplished, Zyro said with a smile. Nice job, man, Kirishima said, looking from the hole he made. All Might announced, the hero team wins. What we lost? How? Minato asked confused, but did not get an answer. Now come back so we can discuss your performance, All Might said. Nothing extreme happened in the remaining matches and all of them went without any major injuries. A whistle was heard, signaling the end of the class. All Might and 21 students were standing in front of the exit tunnel of ground beta. That's a wrap. Super work. You really stepped up to the plate, and we didn't have any major injuries. You should be proud, All Might said. It's nice to hear some encouraging words after our homeroom class. Tsuyu said. Mr. Izuku was kind of a buzzkill. All Might put his hands out in a welcoming gesture as stood in front of a golden-colored UA emblem. I'm happy to bring such staggering positivity to my alma mater. That's all for now, folks. Now watch how a pro exits. Like he's got somewhere to be. The number 1 ran off in a burst of speed. Okay, you guys, that is a hero, Kaminari exclaimed in excitement. I agree, Izuku said. I'll never be able to run that fast, Ojiro complained. I think you will be able to, Kirishima said, trying to encourage him. Thanks, man, Ojiro said. All the classes for the day were over and the students were making their way to the dorms. While walking back to the dorms, the group of 5 were joined by a new classmate. I hope I am not disturbing you all, Momo said. Not at all, Yamamo, Ochako said. Yan, don't worry about Izzy. If he makes fun of you I will hit him, Melissa said. You could try, Izuku said. No, it alright. I actually wanted to talk with Midoriya, that's why I asked to walk with you, Momo explained. You wanted to talk with me? Izuku asked. Yes, during our match I was so focused on what was in front me I forgot to check my back, or should I say the top. Thank you for disagreeing with my analysis of the matches, which helped me see the error in my ways. I learned a lot from our battle, so thank you, Momo said. As you should be, Izuku said proudly, and I will not say sorry for calling you stupid. Momo just laughed a little seeing the smaller boy look so proud, nodding in the process. You knows, with you here it looks like Izuku and I are walking with 4 giants. Ribbit, Tsu said. It not our fault you two are small, Ochako said. Hey! I am not small. I am above average, Izuku said. You should stop lying, Izzy, Melissa teased. I also think you are on the shorter side, Midoriya, Ida said. I don't see any issue with your height, even if you are on the shorter side, Momo said. Even you, Izuku exclaimed. You are taller than me, Izuku, Tsu stated. Thank you, Tsu, you are my only true friend, Izuku, as he gave her a side hug. Stop being dramatic, Melissa said as Ochako and Momo giggled a little. The rest of the way was just the 6 of talking and making jokes. Izuku was reading news on his laptop before going to sleep when his phone rang. He recognized the number and picked it up. Hello. Hello, Izuku, can you hear me? Yes, uncle, I can hear you. I am not that old, you know, right? Yes, but still older than me by a lot. Actually, Izuku, I wanted to ask you for a favor. Yes, sure, what is it? It will take a long time to explain over the phone. Can you come by the house? I can come by tomorrow if that's okay. Perfect. Should I bring anything? Nothing. Okay, we'll drop by tomorrow then, bye. Bye. UA was on high alert. Someone had destroyed the front gate and the UA barrier. 3 of the school's teachers and the principal stood in front of UA's entrance. Where there used to be a wall made of steel, it now only has ruins. How were the ordinary press members able to do something like this? Asked Midnight. I might have some idea, answered Powerloader, looking around the ruins and noticing how it was destroyed. Hey, new guy. Is this like your quirk? He asked. A man around 20 to 22 years old, with light blue hair and red eyes, replied. It is similar, but whoever did it has no control over their quirk. I can tell by looking at the remains. Young Tenko, nice observation. Now the question remains. Was it an accident or intended to be a declaration of war? This has to be related to All Might. After all, the news that All Might has been hired as a teacher at UA surprised the nation. Everyone wants a piece of him, the young man named Tenko answered. Power Loader, come to my office, said the principal, while the others just nodded. Nemuri and Tenko, patrol the campus, and if you find any disturbance, report it in. Yes, Nizu sir. Sure, Nizu. For Izuku the day was going bad. First Aizawa-sensei gave very light remarks about yesterday's training. Then during lunch, the security breach happened which made him drop his food, and Mike-sensei gave a ton of homework. There were few nice things that happened, first being that Tenya and Momo were chosen as class rep and vice rep, and at the end of this week, the class will take a trip to USJ. Right now he was heading to the teacher's office to get permission to leave the campus. Usually, permission is not required, but because of breach it was needed today. After he got permission, he left to meet his uncle. It took him 30 minutes to reach a pastry shop which was owned by his uncle. When he entered he was greeted by his uncle and aunt. Today was a slow day for the shop, so his uncle took a break and went out with Izuku. So, what are you hiding? Izuku asked. What do you mean? The older man replied. If it was just a simple request you would have asked me at the house, but you took me out of the house. So, what is it? Izuku said. I am that obvious, his uncle sighed. You know Kyoko's birthday is near and I wanted to do something special. I am not sure I am the right guy to plan a birthday, Izuku said. Oh, I know. I still remember you trying to plan Soul's birthday. His uncle laughed, remembering the event. By the way, where is Soul? Did he manage to get into UA like you? Yes, he did. That moron missed his flight back, so his stuff has arrived at UA, but he himself is a week late. Izuku said. That's good, his uncle said. While walking they had arrived at the beach. Looking at the beach he said, so the reason I called you is because of this place. This beach was the first place I met Kyoko, and I wanted to celebrate her birthday here, but as you can see there is so much trash here. Takoba Municipal Beach was still a garbage dump. Even if he and Melissa worked to clean it, they combined were only able to clean 75% of the beach, and in between the exam and today, he would say 60% of beach is clean. You want me to help you clean this beach before her birthday? Izuku asked. Yes, you and also Soul, his uncle said. Aunt Kyoko's birthday is in 2 weeks, right? Yes. And you think we can clean all of this in 2 weeks? Izuku asked. I have hope. Let me call Soul, he might have an idea about how to clean all this in 2 weeks. Izuku picked his phone up and dialed him. What do you need? Takoba Municipal Beach in 20 minutes. After saying that much Izuku hung up the phone. Let's get something to eat while Soul arrives, Izuku said. Sure, his uncle replied. He knew that this is how they talk to each other. Soul and Izuku were like brothers. Even if they only met each other few times each year, they trusted each other very much. Izuku met Soul when he was sick. When they met each other for the first time, they did not like each other because Izuku liked All Might while Soul liked Endeavor. Izuku wanted to be a hero who makes people smile, while Soul wanted to scare the shit out of the villains. They did not go to the same school, one liked sweet foods and the other liked spicy food. The only reason Izuku and Soul became friends was because Soul believed in Izuku's quirk, and both went to the same park to play. Izuku does not remember how and when they both became friends, but it happened and he was glad. They were eating some fried rice when Soul arrived. Next time at least tell me the reason, Soul said. Soul and Izuku had the similar build. Soul was 2 centimeters taller than him, and had black hair, but the thing that stood out about Soul's appearance was his eyes, which were pitch black with no pupils. If Izuku had to describe Soul's face, he would say Soul looked like a horror movie ghost. You would have not come then, Izuku said. Hello Soul. Hello Uncle Izumi, Soul said as he sat down taking the bowl of fried rice. Izuku explained the situation to Soul. It's impossible, Soul said. Let's not lose hope, Uncle Izumi said. It's not about that. Let's say we help you, which we will, no doubt, but you have to run a cake shop and we both have school and we only have 2 weeks, not even that, take 10-day max, Soul said. There must be something we can do, Uncle Izumi asked. We need more people, Izuku said. We need people who don't have anything to do all day so that they can help us for free, Sol said. It doesn't sound nice when you put it like that, Uncle Izumi said. It doesn't, but that's what required, Sol said. Do you have any idea then? Izuku asked. No, Sol said. How many people would we need? Uncle Izumi asked. How much time did it take for you and that girl to clean that much area? Sol asked. 9 months. Me and Mel cleaned about 75%, but the trash has increased since last time. I would guess 60% is cleaned, Izuku said. It took 274 days for 2 people to clean 75% of the beach. To complete 35% of the work in 10 days we would need about 29 to 30 people, Sol said. Not only people, we would need a way to take care of the trash, Izuku said. Finding that many volunteer would be tough, Uncle Izumi said. Yes, even if we ask heroes, they would help but would have to leave if a villain appears, Sol said. I guess I should just take her to a restaurant, Uncle Izumi said. The mood was down as the conversation went on. Don't worry, Uncle. Leave it to us, we will think of something, Izuku said. Yes, we will, Sol said. Thank you both, Uncle Izumi said. After completing their food, Uncle Izumi went back to the shop. Sol and Izuku went back to UA. So, have you gone to class once? Izuku asked. No, tomorrow will be the first day, Sol said. Have you even met your classmates? Izuku asked. Yes, I set my room today and met them, Sol said. Wow, I still can't believe UA let you take the first week off while being in the hero course, Izuku said. I just told them that there was an emergency on the way while I was heading to the airport, and as a hero student, I could not ignore it, Sol said. You forgot your bag, Izuku said. And having all your stuff is an important aspect of being a hero student, and it was not compulsory to come to school. You were late on the first day, Sol said. It is for you a hero course, we are hero student, Izuku said as he got an idea. He looked towards Sol and said, We are hero students, right? Izuku said. Yes. And hero students should help their community, Izuku said. Yes, oh. Sol said, understanding what Izuku meant. I guess we can find more than 30 people. We need to meet with the principal first, Izuku said as they started walking faster towards UA. Niza had a lot of work today. The UA barrier was destroyed, and he could not figure out why. He and Powerloader had scanned the data to see if something was leaked or missing. They had also discussed on how to increase the security of UA. As their new teacher pointed out, that the incident was related to All Might, he did not doubt that. Nizu did not care whether it was a mistake by the press or a declaration of war from someone. He will find them and make their life into a living hell. No one can mess with student of UA. Speaking of student, 2 of the most interesting one were making their way to his office. Both passed the exam without using their quirk, given one did not use it and others does not work on robots, but both did impress him. Izuku and Sol waited outside until they were called. Good afternoon both, it's me, Nizu said. The one who could be a mouse, or a dog, or a bear, though the only important thing is, I'm the principal. So what can I help you with today? Sir, as current hero student and future heroes we have a duty help our community, Izuku said, and as the student of UA we should not turn a blind eye towards our beautiful city. While we were coming back to UA we saw the state of Takoba Municipal Beach, and felt sad as we saw what had happened to the beautiful beach. Yes, sir, not only as hero student but as people with common sense we should keep our city clean, Sol said. So what we want to request was, Izuku explained. Nizu was amused as he saw both of them trying to make their case. UA had a program for student wanting to do community service, but it started in the 2nd year. Nizu was happy that these students were trying to do community service, but he could tell they had other motive. It is good that both of you are trying to help the community by cleaning the beach, but please tell me the real reason. Nizu asked. Izuku and Sol looked at each other, and decide to tell why after all he was the smartest creature in UA. Maybe he could tell a different solution. I understand your reasoning and I will help you with this task, Nizu said. Thank you, sir, Izuku said as he and Sol stood up and left the office. Of course Nizu would help, he was the principal after all and he also liked that cake shop. Their cake go well with his tea. The next day Aizawa announced about the community service program for the first-year students, and principal found many community service programs near UA, one of them being cleaning the beach. For the beach cleaning, the hero course student will be mainly cleaning the beach and student from support will be analyzing if the parts found can be recycled. He and Sol wanted just 30 people but Nizu went plus ultra. Aizawa wanted to make sure everybody understand that it was not compulsory to join. Midnight was the coordinator for the program, and he was the point of contact for the beach cleanup. Sol had already convinced the teacher that Izuku would be better option for the point of contact as he is more approachable compared to him. At the end of their class, many of his classmates showed their interest. Midoriya, you are a better student compared to me, Ida said. As a hero student, I thought we only needed to work on academic success and our hero training, but you showed me what it means to be a true hero student. Yes, dude. You are so manly, Kirishima said. Thank you, both, Izuku said, accepting the compliment. Man, I always thought that place was a garbage dump and not a beach, Kaminari said. It's not going to stay a garbage dump for long, Ochako said. I want to help you guy but I can't, Kaminari said. I have a cold and I don't want to accidentally use my quirk near a body of water. Oh. I did not think of that, Ochako said. But you know that place is lot cleaner than before, Tsu said. That is because me and Izzy used to clean it, Melissa said. You cleaned the beach as part of your training? Ochako asked. Is that where you two first met? Mina asked. Yes, to both, Melissa said. Both of you are so manly, Kirishima said. Izuku was happy so many people in his class showed interest. He was positive that he and Sol would be able to clean the beach before Aunt Kyoko's birthday. Just because you can't do any actual hero work, you want everyone to pick garbage like you, Deku, Katsuki said. Doing community service is also a key part of being a hero Bakugu, Ida said. Keep telling yourself that, while I go out and do actual hero work, Katsuki said. Leave it, Ida, it's no use, Melissa said. We can actually start the cleanup today if we get enough people, Izuku said, ignoring Katsuki. Cleaning up garbage is fits a quirkless loser like you, Deku, Katsuki. My friend from 1B said his classmate are ready to start today and have talked with Midnight regarding it, Izuku said. Do you have anything to say, loser, Katsuki said. After school we can meet at the beach or meet at the school and go together. Which do you guy like, Izuku asked. Stop ignoring me, Deku, Katsuki said, now angry at being ignored. UA will provide protective gear for us. Midnight and Power Loader Sensei will also come with us as supervisor, Izuku said. By this time Katsuki was ready to send Izuku to the hospital but was stopped by Kirishima and Ida long enough for next class to start. Bakugu is really annoying, Momo said from her seat in front of Izuku. Tell me about it. Izuku said, seating in his seat. Izuku and his classmate made it to the beach. 1B and the support course was already present there, and so were the teachers. They had already begun the cleanup. Izuku met with Sol and introduced him to his friends. Few of his friends were scared of Sol, and he can understand after all Sol looks absolutely scary. Few people like Mina, Jiro and Tokoyami liked Sol looks, and were not scared of him, but after talking to Sol everyone started to feel a little less scared of him. Melissa and Izuku did not have much trouble while cleaning the beach as they did it for 9 months. Ochako, who worked at her parents' construction site, had less trouble, but someone like Momo did face a lot of trouble. Izuku decided to help her. It was going to be a few very busy days. After the day's cleanup, Sol and Izuku went to tell their uncle about the plan. Uncle Izumi treated them with a cake after hearing the news. Today was a long day for Izuku, but he was happy he was able to help his uncle. He was also looking forward to the end of this week, as their class was taking a trip to the USJ, and he could not wait to go to the USJ. If someone else had told Izuku they were taking him to USJ, he would have been super excited at the thought of going to a theme park, but it was his teacher. He had a little hope that it would still be the theme park until Izuku spoke. Today's hero basic training has turned into a class with 4 instructors, All Might, me, and 2 more. Izuku addressed the class. So no theme park, I guess, Izuku thought sadly. Excuse me. What will we be doing? Zero raised his head. Disasters, shipwrecks, and everything in between. It's rescue training. Izuku told them, and the class started to get excited. Well, this is not bad either, Izuku thought. Hey, I'm not done. Izuku glared, getting the class's attention, adding, You can decide if you want to wear your costume or not this time. The training will take place off campus, so we're taking a bus. Everyone waited outside for the bus to arrive. Oh, you're wearing your PE clothes. Where's your costume? ᴅᴜᴜ asked, walking up to Izuku. My mom asked to send a photo, and when I did she said it looked shady, so I sent it to the support department to change the design a little, Izuku explained. Ida blew a whistle, signaling the class to get on the bus. Shoot, I didn't think it'd be this type of bus. Ida felt disappointed as they sat on the bus. There was no point, huh? Mina smiled. He was seated between Mel and Ochako, with Momo sitting beside Ochako, and Tsu was opposite of him. There was a little fight between Tsu and Bakugo about how he would not be popular. The bus ride was nothing special. We're here. Stop messing around. Izuku shushed them as the bus pulled up to a sphere-shaped building. Yes, sir. Everyone exited the bus, and a space-suited teacher stepped forward. Everyone, I have been waiting for you. The class stared in awe at the person speaking. It's the space hero, 13. Ochako gushed. Oh, I love 13. While Ochako gushed about 13, the third teacher made his presence known. A man around 20 to 22 years old, with light blue hair and red eyes, said, Hello everyone, the name is Tenko Shimura. I am a new teacher at UA and the new combat instructor. Izuku was proud that he knew many heroes, but right now he could not recognize this man, so he raised his hand and asked, What is your hero name? It's Paragon, Shimura-sensei said. Now it was Momo's turn to ask a question as she raised her hand and asked, Then are you related to the floating hero, Paragon? She was my grandmother, Tenko-sensei said. Before anyone could ask more questions, Izuku stopped them and told them to move. The class walked into the building, looking around in awe. Wow, it looks like USJ, the class gaped. A boat sat in a pool of water, 13 explaining, a shipwreck, a landslide area, a landslide, a zone of fire, a storm inside of a zone, a windstorm. It is a training ground that I made with different types of accidents and disasters. It's called the Unforeseen Simulation Joint, or USJ for short. 13 finished. 13, Tenko, where's All Might? He was supposed to meet us here. Izuku asked 13. About that, 13 dropped their voice low to where the students couldn't hear, holding up 3 fingers, explaining, It looks like he did too much hero work on his way to work and ran out of time, so he's resting in the lounge. That's the height of irrationality. Izuku sighed. Izuku picked up on the signal that 13 gave. He was not the only one, as Melissa also understood the meaning. Shall we begin? Izuku said. 13 started explaining her quirk to the students and how it worked. Some of you also have quirks like that, right? 13 asked them when explaining that their black hole quirk can also kill. 13 explained that with one wrong step, someone could end up killed, and told them how the tests they've set up were to help them grow their strengths and learn their weaknesses. 13's so cool. Ochako beamed. All right then, first Izuku started before getting cut off as the lights in the building flickering before a warp gate appeared in the middle of the building. A hand came out of the warp, revealing a man with a hand on his face. Gather together and don't move. Aizawa instructed his class. What's that? Kirishima asked, squinting his eyes to get a better look while more people started coming from the warp gate. Is this like the entrance exam where the lessons already started? Kirishima questioned as Melissa began to walk forward. Don't move, Tenko-sensei said, as he started to remove his gloves. Those are villains. The class gasped as two giant bird monsters came from the warp. Eraserhead, 13 and an unknown, huh? The teacher's schedule we received the other day said that All Might was supposed to be here. A voice hummed. Where is he? I went through the trouble of bringing this whole crowd, too. All Might, the symbol of peace. I can't believe he's not here. Young master, calm down, the mist guy said. I wonder if he'll come if we kill some kids? The man with hands on his face chuckled. What? Villains? No way. There's no way they could get into a hero school, Kirishima questioned as several other villains appeared from the portal. Momo made her way to the front, asking, Teacher, what about the trespasser sensors? We have them, of course, but 13 replied. Did they only appear here, or around the whole school? Todoroki questioned. Some of the class looked at him, Todoroki explaining, either way, if the sensors are not responding, that means they have someone with a quirk that can do that. An isolated area separated from the main campus during a time when a class is supposed to be here. They might be fools, but they're not dumb. This surprise attack was carefully planned with some sort of goal in mind. Aizawa fixed his headgear and said, 13, start the evacuation. Try calling the school. These villains even had something to counteract the sensors. Someone with radio wave-type powers may be interfering. He turned towards Denki and said, Kaminari. But received no response. Kaminari. Yes, sir. You try contacting the school with your quirk, too. Yes, sir. What about you, sir? Will you fight by yourself? With that many, even if you can erase their quirks. Eraserhead's fighting style is captured after erasing the enemy's quirk. A frontal battle. Melissa worried about Eraserhead. You can't be a hero with just one trick, Eraserhead explained. Before he left to fight, Eraserhead told 13, protect the children, 13. Eraserhead leaped, scaling the stairs to make his way to the villains. Shooting squad, let's go. A villain with gun finger announced. Who's that? Another villain questioned, her hair rising. I don't know. But if he thinks he can come at us from the front by himself, then he's a huge idiot, the three villains declared, their quirks ready to fire. Eraserhead's eyes flashed, their quirks deactivated. Huh? My quirk, the gun-fingered villain gaped before he and the other two were wrapped up by Eraserhead's scarf. Eraserhead threw them into the air before slamming them back down into one another. 13. Protect the students, I will also go down, Tenko said. Don't worry, students, let's run, 13 shouted. All the students started to make a run for the gates. Tenko also started to run down the stairs. While running down, he touched the stairs with his hands and destroyed a part of the stairs by turning it into dust. Wow, not only did he cut off the path to reach the top, but also reduced the villain's visibility with the dust cloud. Izuku thought, impressed, as he stood while the others ran. No time for analysis, Melissa yelled out to Izuku. Izuku ran after the other for the entrance until a warp gate appeared in front of the class, stopping them. I won't let you, the warp gate vowed. Eraser, we missed one, Tenko said. Shoot. I just blinked once and the guy who looks like the most trouble got away. Aizawa thought, turning to get back to the entrance, but was blocked by the villains. Nice to meet you. We are the League of Villains. The warp introduced, explaining, it may be presumptuous of us, but we have invited ourselves into the home of the heroes, UA High School, to have All Might, the symbol of peace, take his last breath. I believe All Might should have been here. Has there been some kind of change? Izuku tried to reach his metal bat, but realized he did not have it. He noticed one of 13's finger lids popped off as they got ready to suck in the warp guy. Before it happened, Bakugwa and Kirishima jumped at the warp. Bakugwa set an explosion, leaving smoke around them. "What are you two idiots doing?" Izuku shouted at Kirishima and Bakugwa. "Did you consider that you'd get beaten by us before you did it?" Kirishima confidently asked. "Oh dear, that's dangerous," the warp said, making them stiff, narrowing his eyes. "That's right. Even if you are students, you are still UA students. I will scatter you all and torture you to death," the warp shouted, creating a giant sphere around the class. "What the dash?" Kirishima covered his face with his arm. Ida grabbed Ochako, while Shoji covered Mina and Satsuo covered Siro. "Ribbit," Tsu uttered. Shoji made it out of the gate with Satsuo, Mina and Siro. "Everyone!" Ida called out as he fell. Everything was happening so fast Melissa felt lost. One moment she and her friends were ready to train at the USJ, and now a warp appeared with her falling out and splashing into the water with real villains surrounding her. They want to kill Uncle Might? What in the world is going on? What the heck? Melissa thought, looking around in the water before swimming towards the surface. Melissa continued to swim until a villain in the water started swimming towards her. Melissa gaped, bubbles escaping his mouth. "I don't have anything against you, but see ya!" The shark villain laughed, opening his mouth wide while Melissa covered her face, but Tsu appeared and kicked his mouth shut. "Melissa!" "Ribbit!" Tsu called, wrapping her tongue around Melissa. "See ya!" the shark villain echoed as Tsu kicked him further down. "See ya!" Tsu replied, swimming to the surface with Melissa. Tsu and Melissa climbed the boat's edge. When they climbed the boat, they were met with a knocked-out Ida and Ochako. Tsu splashed some water on them to wake them up. "Azui-san," Ida said. "Call me Tsu'd," Azui told Ida. "What happened?" Ochako asked. "Looks like that smoke guy has some kind of rap quirk and scattered everyone," Melissa answered. "This has turned into a bad situation, though," Azui remarked. "Yeah. What the villain said earlier," Melissa agreed. "All Might should have been here. Has there been some kind of change? They knew UA's schedule. Looking at the big picture, those guys must have set up the media intrusion the other day to get information. They were waiting to pounce, just as Todoroki said," Melissa noted. "But it's not like they can kill All Might. Once All Might come, he'll pound those guys," Ochako said, punching the air. "Uraraka-san," Tsu called, getting her attention as she asked her, "don't you think they are trying so hard because they have a way to kill him?" "But it's All Might we are talking about," Ochako said. "Let all come down and think of a way out," Ida said, trying to calm everyone down. "Let us try to hold out until All Might arrives. Even if All Might comes, I wonder if we will all make it out in one piece," Tsu told. Ochako turned to look at the water, seeing villains swimming up to the surface. "Bastard! I'll kill you!" the shark villain yelled at them. "There's a ton of them," Ochako said. "These guys have a way to defeat Uncle Might. She's probably right about it. I can't think of any other possibility. Why do they want to kill him? Because he's become a person who deters villains and evil? Because he's the one and only symbol of peace?" Melissa wondered to herself. "I don't care about why," Melissa said, "but if those guys," Tsu, Ochako, and Ida looked at her, "have a way to defeat All Might, then right now we should be stopping whatever they're planning. By winning." "Yes," Ochako shouted. "Landslide zone." Ice appeared, covering the ground while capturing villains. "It's pathetic to lose against a single child. Get a hold of yourself. You're an adult, aren't you?" Todoroki glared at the villains. "Windstorm zone." A villain was thrown into the wall. "You are no match for me, punk," a shadow said. "Dark Shadow, calm down and focus," Tokoyami said. "I am Clam, now let find the next one," Dark Shadow said. "Tokoyami, you are the best," Mineta said while crying and hugging. "Shut up you! And you find me the next one, Animal Boy," Dark Shadow said. "Dark Shadow behave, I apologize on his behalf Kuda," Tokoyami said. Kuda did not say anything, he just nodded and started to use his quirk on nearby rodents to try to find the next villain for Dark Shadow. Fire Zone. Are we sure that he is not one of the bad guys? Kaminari asked. Hey! He is trying to defeat them as fast as possible, Kirishima said. Die. Are you sure he not trying to kill them? Kaminari asked, a little scared. 50-50, Kirishima said. Mountain zone. Damn it. Why are there so many retards here? Kyuka said. It not nice to call people retards, Momo said. Are you worried about what I call the villain? Kyuka said while she avoided an attack from a villain. Sorry, Momo said, but there really are many villains. Boom. What now? Kyuka shouted. From the smoke, they both saw a large figure. It was one of the bird monsters that came out of the portal. It let out a horrifying screech which made their ear bleed. Now you two are dead. A villain tried to say but was smashed by the bird monster and killed. What just happened? Kyuka questioned, as she tried to stop the bleeding from her ear. Momo was not the type to act like a damsel in distress, but right now she wanted a hero to come and save her. At the entrance, Shoji turned two of his hands into an ear and an eye. Shoji, is everyone here? Mina asked. Everyone's scattered, but they're all in this building, Shoji answered. Satsuo, Siro, and Ashido let out a sigh of relief before paying back their attention to the warp gate. Damn it, physical attacks can't hit him, and he can warp things. His quirk's the worst. Siro cursed. Students. 13 called. Yes, Shoji and others turned to his teacher. I entrust this duty to you all. Run to the school and tell them about what is happening here. The alarms are not sounding, and our phones don't have a signal. The alarm system is based on infrared rays. Even though Eraserhead is erasing quirks left and right, they are still not working, which means they must have someone with an interference quirk who hid right when they arrived. It would be faster for you to run than for us to find that person. 13 instructed. Okay, teacher. Satsuo, you are probably the fastest one among us with your quirk, Siro said. If you can go outside, there are alarms. That's why these guys are only doing this inside, right? Shoji told him, raising his fists to fight. As long as you go outside, they won't follow you. Mina added. Use your quirk to save others. 13 encouraged Shoji to walk up to stand with Siro and Mina. I can totally support you, Mina said, pleading. Go, Satsuo. Satsuo prepared his quirk and was ready to run as fast as possible. Even if you have no other choice, are they idiots who talk about their plans in front of the enemy? The warp said as he sent his mist for Satsuo. We did it because it doesn't matter if we're found out. 13 objected, pointing their unlocked finger lid, and started sucking in the fog, shouting, Black hole! USJ Center. Eraserhead and Paragon were punching villains left and right, capturing them and throwing them to the ground. Eraserhead looked up as the hand guy started running at him. 23 seconds. The last boss. Eraserhead announced as he slung his scarf at him. 24 seconds. The guy grabbed his scarf. 20 seconds. 17 seconds. Eraserhead grabbed his scarf back and elbowed the guy in the gut. Damn. Eraserhead gritted his teeth. It's hard to see because you keep moving around, but there's an instant when your hair falls. The hand guy started, Eraserhead widening his dry eyes, the guy adding, That's when you've finished an action. The man had his hand on Eraserhead's elbow, starting to turn gray. And the space in between had gotten shorter and shorter. Don't push yourself, Eraserhead. Eraserhead's elbow skin started to decay. Eraserhead pushed the man away, his elbow hanging limply. Jumping back, Eraserhead thought, My elbow's crumbling. Eraserhead glanced behind him, seeing a villain try to attack before Eraserhead ducked, punching him away, and prepared for the next one before villains surrounded him. Eraserhead stood in the middle, breathing heavily while his elbow was in tremendous pain. That quirk isn't suited for fighting long fights against a large group, is it? Isn't this too different from your usual job? What you're good at is a short fight against a surprise attack, right? Even so, you jumped right in to fight us from the front. Was that to put your students at ease? The hand guy asked Eraserhead. A villain ran for Eraserhead, who dodged and captured him with his scarf as another villain came, Eraserhead using the other villain as a shield against the second. Eraserhead kicked and punched away villains before turning to the Handed Man. "You're so cool! You're so cool!" The Hand Man hummed, pausing to tell Eraserhead, "By the way, hero." Eraserhead turned around to see the giant bird creature towering over him. "Before facing the boss, you have to deal with his minions. Kill him, Nomu," the Hand Man said. Nomu lifted his hand to strike Izuku, but his hand was turned into dust. "I hope you guys did not forget about me," Tenko said. Nomu fell back with one of his arms turned to dust. "Nomu, deal with Eraserhead, I will deal with this annoying no-name hero," the Hand Man said as he ran towards Tenko. The Nomu, which had just lost his arm, started to regenerate it and started to move towards Izuku in the blink of an eye. Blood and Eraserhead's now broken goggles flew into the air. Tenko, seeing the thing he just immobilized, stood up and walked like nothing happened, surprised him. It was only a moment, but it gave the Hand Man enough time to close the distance between them and grab Tenko's head with his hand. "Now die," the Hand Man said, but nothing happened. "What the hell?" Before he could finish, Tenko kicked him and grabbed his hand to immobilize him. But again nothing happened. "Why is my quirk not working?" Tenko said. "I could ask you the same," the Hand Man replied. From the corner of his eye, Tenko saw the Nomu standing over Izuku. He let go of the villain and tried to get Izuku out of the battle. "Not so fast, hero, Nomu." In a second the Nomu was standing in front of Tenko. "If I can't kill you, then he will," the Hand Man said. UA Training Ground. Class 1B was having their hero costumes tested by their teachers Vlad King and Power Loader to find ways to improve their costumes. "Man, I also wanted to go the USJ like 1A, Tetsu said. "Getting our costume improved will help us in the long run," Kendo said to him. "Yes, but still, think of all the cool things Class 1A could be doing," Tetsu said. "Don't worry, after this our hero costume will be 100 times better than those Class 1A losers," Monoma said while laughing. "Kendo hit him on the head with a chop." "Kendo, don't hit him. He is half right," Tsuburaba said. "Okay, fine, but he still should not call," Kendo said. "About them being losers," Tsuburaba said. "Annoying Kendo more." "Cut it out, both of you," Kendo said to them. She turned around to see Soul and said, "Soul, help me a little with these two." Hello, Soul." Are you listening?" Soul. Yes. I was asking for backup, is something wrong?" Kendo asked. "Yes," Soul replied and started walking towards his teachers. "Vlad Sensei and Power Loader Sensei," Soul called out to his teacher. "Yes, kid," Vlad replied. "My quirk is telling me something horrible is happening in that direction," Soul said as he pointed towards USJ. "What do you mean?" Vlad asked, a little confused. "You know how my quirk works, and right now it is telling me something horrible is happening." "What is in that direction?" Soul said. "Only the off-campus facility, USJ," Power Loader replied. "Can you check if everything is alright, please?" Soul asked. "No problem, kid, we'll give Izuku a call," Vlad said, as he dialed Izuku's number. The phone rang for a bit before giving a voice note. "The number you have dialed is temporarily disconnected." "I will try 13, Power Loader said. "I will try Paragon," Vlad said. But both phones gave the same reply, but got the same reply: "The number you have dialed is temporarily disconnected." Vlad and the Power Loader started to get a bad feeling. The students who were nearby also started to get a bad feeling. "I will go inform Nizu, you stay with the kids," Power Loader said. As he started to move towards Nizu's office, Kendo walked up to Soul and asked, "Hey, is everything okay?" Soul looked her in the eyes and said, "No. The number you have dialed is temporarily disconnected." All Might placed down his phone. "I can't reach Izuku. Whatever the reason, I am neglecting my teaching duties because of what happened outside of work hours. I did something very foolish." All Might rubbed his forehead. "I have only 15 minutes left for my quirk, if I am quick dash," All Might's sentence was cut short as he spat out blood. Hold your horses. Someone opened the door where All Might was waiting. Principal Nizu. All Might observed. Yes. Am I a mouse? A bear? A dog? My real identity is, Nizu announced, answering, the principal. Do you have to say that every time? All Might asked. Yes. Nizu said. And look at this. All Might resolves 3 incidents in only 1 hour. Pulling out his tablet with All Might's incidents that he did this morning, All Might winced while Nizu sighed. Are you the only hero in this town? Nizu asked. No, sir. Then you shouldn't react every time you hear of an incident. Nizu said. But Sir Dash. Your hero activities are limited because of your injury and its aftereffect. Along with that, you need to train your one for all successor. That is true, sir. Since you insist on remaining the symbol of peace, the only way you can keep the world from finding out about both of those is for you to come here. That's why I suggested you became a teacher. Nizu explained to All Might. Nizu walked over to the couch to sit down, continuing, I think you can stay here and relax for a little longer. In actuality, you can only teach this next class for a little bit, right? I'm the one who suggested it, but since you've accepted the position, I wish you'd prioritize your teaching duties. All Might hopped over to crouch on the floor across from the couch. I mean, there are a lot of hero agencies in this town. Nizu pointed out. It is as you say. But that is why I was preparing to go to USJ. All Might explained. Even if you went now, you would be forced to return right away, right? If that's the case, then you might as well listen to my theories on teaching and use that to help you in the future. Nizu poured himself and All Might some tea. He's pouring tea, All Might groaned. As glanced at his phone. Still no reply, All Might thought. First of all, regarding the vulnerability and responsibility of being both a hero and teacher, Nizu started. You haven't changed at all either, sir. All Might sighed. Knock knock asterisk. Nizu stopped and said, Come in. Power Loader came in and saw both of them. He gave All Might a little nod, and then turned towards Nizu and said, Hello, sir. One of Lad's students, Quirk, told him something bad is happening in the direction of the USJ. Me and Vlad tried to call the teachers but can't reach them. Power Loader said. I tried to contact Izuku earlier but thought it was a network problem. All Might said, now a little worried. I will check the USJ camera feed. Nizu turned to his computer and tried to access the camera but an error came up. We can't find your camera. Can't connect to camera. All the cameras around the USJ were giving the same error. All Might, go to the USJ and give me a status update, Nizu ordered. All Might buffed up and said, Yes, sir. Power Loader, inform the teacher to be ready if needed, Nizu said. Yes, sir. The fake city in the USJ. A warp appeared with Izuku falling out of it. A warp quirk, what a nice quirk to have. If only he was a hero, Izuku thought as he dusted himself off. So I am surrounded by villains. No protective gear, no weapon, and no intel about the villains. Could this be any worse? Izuku spoke. Look, that one of the UA kids we have to kill. Izuku heard someone speak. He turned around to see many villains coming towards him with their quirks active, and some carrying weapons. He can't even move, he is so scarred, a villain with a sword said. Others laughed at Izuku thinking he was scared. Well, the weapon issue is solved, Izuku said to himself. Now he has gone crazy, he is talking to himself. What an idiot! Before the villain could finish, Izuku grabbed him by the face and slammed him on the ground. All the other villains were now on high alert and ready to fight. Izuku picked up the sword from the ground and then pointed at the villains. You're next. Melissa was trying to think of a plan to get out of the current situation. Normally, she was good at coming up with solutions for this kind of scenario, but that was when she was in her comfort zone, not when people were trying to kill her. Sure, she knew she would have to come up with a solution for these types of situations in real time in 1 or 2 years, but this was too early. Got any plan, Melissa-chan? Kero, Tsu asked. I am thinking of something, Melissa said. Ochako looked over the boat's railing to see what the villains were doing. Those guys down there are assuming we'll fight in the water, Ochako said to the group. From what I can observe, most of them have gills and fins, which are perfect for this zone. It seems they have an idea about the layout of the USJ, Ida said. They probably stole it during the previous break-in, Ochako said. Let's first think of a plan to get out, then we can think about other stuff. Kero, Tsu said. Tsu, how many of us can you carry without getting caught? Melissa asked. 1 or maybe 2, but that would also be difficult. Kero, Tsu said. Oh. What about you, ᴅᴜᴜᴜ-san? Can you use your quirk on us so that we can fly and get out? Ida asked. I can barely keep myself in the air for 20 seconds without getting nauseous. I think if I push myself, I can float all of us about 4 to 5 seconds. 5 seconds is not enough time, Ida said. It is easier for me to use my quirk on non-living objects than living, Ochako said. What about the boat, Ochako? Melissa asked. Huh. Can you use your quirk on this boat, and then Ida can use his quirk to blast us out? Melissa said. I could do that, Ochako said and looked at Ida for his input. I could also do that, Ida said. Okay, let's do this, Melissa said. It's a good plan, but Tsu tried to say something, but a huge hand of water formed in front of them, ready to destroy the boat. No time for your question, Tsu, let go, Melissa said as the 3 of them rushed to the front of the boat and Ida stayed at the edge. Ochako used her quirk on the boat, and Ida then used his engine to blast them out of the water. Take that, you villains, Ochako shouted. Yeah, Melissa said happily as they had escaped the villain. Their happiness was short-lived, as panic overtook them when the frog girl spoke. As I was saying earlier before I was cut off, it was a good plan, but how are we going to stop this boat now? Kero, Tsu asked. Landslide zone. You guys are very weak. Are you guys really a group of villains? Todoroki asked, cold air escaping his mouth. The villain that he captured with his ice stood frozen. Todoroki started walking away through the frozen statues that were once villains. Teach this guy. The instant we warped here. A villain choked out. Is he really a kid? Another questioned. Yes, I am, Todoroki answered as he got closer to the villains. Now could you answer a few questions for me? Todoroki said. In your dreams, kid. Villains shouted. Sleeping in this situation will be difficult for me, so please answer them while I am awake, Todoroki said seriously. Are you stupid? Villain asked. No, I always get good grades in exams, Todoroki said as he heard his name being called. Todoroki-kun, help me. Todoroki turned around but saw nobody. He could still hear the sound, so he moved towards the sound. It was then he spotted a pair of boots and glove. Hagakure-san? He asked. Yes, dummy. When you froze the villain, you also froze me, Toru scolded. I did not notice you, Todoroki said. How could you not notice a cute girl like me? Toru said. I am sorry, Todoroki said as he lifted his left hand and created a little fire to melt the ice around Toru. Wow. I thought your quirk was ice control or something, Toru said. It's half fire and half ice. I use ice mostly because I have better control over it, Todoroki said. Oh, Toru said as she got free from the ice. Okay, what's the plan? I was going to get some info out of the villain, but it seems it would be difficult, Todoroki said. Don't worry. Getting people to talk is my specialty, Toru said as she and Todoroki moved toward the villain. We have a few questions for you, villain, Toru said. I don't care, go away, villain said. You think you have a choice, Toru said. Huh. You could not even defeat my friend, Toru said. We are just classmates, Todoroki said. Toru turned around and said, You don't say anything. It seems you are not afraid to die, Toru said to the villain. If you want to live, just answer a few questions. Why should I? Villain said. You are not even aware of what is happening to your body, right? Your body is going to succumb to frostbite and hypothermia, and at this rate you will slowly die. Toru said. You are hero students, you can't kill me, villain said. You guys attacked us first, so anything we do will come under self-defense, Toru said. My friend here is heartless. He can unfreeze you, but he will only do that if you answer the questions. So choose your next word nicely, Toru said. Fine, I will talk. Don't let me freeze to death, villain said. Thank you, Toru said and turned towards Todoroki and said, Go ahead. I am not heartless. I have a heart, Todoroki thought. This guy is so stupid, he believed that lie. Does he not know humans can't live without a heart? At the entrance. Black hole, we researched your quirk before coming here, the warp villain calmly said. A quirk that sucks up matter and turns it to dust. Such an astounding power. However, you're a rescue hero, 13, skilled at saving people from disasters. Consequently, that means you have little fighting experience or battlefield awareness. The villain said as he started to create a new gate. As 13's black hole exerted pressure to suck up the villain, it instead began pulling on the warp gate, which had just opened. The villain then opened another gate behind 13, linking the two. 13 understood what the villain was trying to do, but 13 tried to reduce the outcome of the quirk, but was not fast enough. 13 braced herself, but nothing happened. She heard a yelp behind her. As 13 turned around, she was met with horror. Mina had jumped between her and the wrap gate and took the attack. Ashido-san, 13 shouted as she ran towards Mina to help her. Satsuo and Shoji froze in shock as they watched what happened. You should not turn your back on your enemy, the wrap villain said as he was getting ready to attack, but then he felt something wrap around him. I could say the same, dude, Siro said as he wrapped his tape around the metal brace of the villain. Satsuo, Shoji, Siro shouted. Both Shoji and Satsuo snapped out of the shock. Satsuo closed his mouth, gritting his teeth as he fired up his quirk. Damn it! Satsuo yelled, running for the entrance. If the other teachers are called here, it will be hard for us, the warp villain told Satsuo. I won't let you, Shoji vowed as he took the tape from Siro and started to pull the villain. Shoji tried to swing the warp gate away from Satsuo but could not move the villain. You are not strong enough to pull me, the wrap villain mocked. Gravitational pull, 13 said as the villain started getting pulled towards her. This gave enough momentum for Shoji to swing the villain and throw him towards the plaza. Satsuo finally reached the doors and opened the doors wide enough for him to get out, running away at full speed. Sugar rush, Satsuo announced as he headed for the school. It's game over, the warp villain said as he was thrown towards the plaza. You two, good job. Now help me patch up Ashido-san, 13 said. Yes, okay, they both replied as they moved to help Mina. How is she? Shoji asked. She is unconscious. I was able to reduce my quirk output a little, but she still took the attack head-on. 13 said as she started first aid on Mina. Will she be alright? Siro asked. Yes. Shoji takes this gel and applies it to her wounds, and Siro wraps this bandage around the area where the gel is applied. 13 said. Where did you get this, sensei? Siro asked as he started to wrap the bandage. I am a rescue hero, 13 said. Mountain Zone. Momo was running, looking for a place to hide. She had lost a lot of blood and had one of her hands broken. She was carrying an unconscious Kyuka with her, and she was only half conscious. What with that bird monster? It is killing everyone, Momo thought as she was looking for a place to hide. Her body finally gave out with the amount of blood it had lost. The last thing she saw was the bird monster moving towards them before she also lost consciousness. Nomu was a creature of instinct, and it was given a single task by his master to kill everything, and it could not disobey that order no matter what. It killed another villain who was running away. Nomu spotted two girls falling and moved towards them for the kill. Nomu moved based on its instinct, and those instincts were warning it of a dangerous presence behind it. Nomu turned around and spotted a boy with green hair moving toward it. He had a sword that was shining bright yellow. As the boy reduced the distance between them, Nomu let out a monstrous roar and started running towards the boy, even if Nomu's instincts were telling it to run away. Nomu could not run. Nomu could not disobey the master's order. Izuku was sure that the thing that was running towards him was not natural. He sensed 4 different heat signatures from the monster. Izuku had never sensed 4 different heat signatures from a single entity. The best guess he could come up with was that 4 people were fused to create that thing. The Nomu reached Izuku and pulled its fist back to go for a punch. Izuku parried the attack, spun around, and hit the Nomu with the sword. When the sword made contact with Nomu, it burned Nomu's hand and body. Nomu's regeneration quirk activated and healed the injury. Nomu retaliated by kicking Izuku. He blocked the Nomu's attack with the sword but was sent flying back. Again, the contact with the sword burned the Nomu. Regeneration, what an annoying quirk, Izuku thought as he got ready to attack. In an instant, Izuku reduced the distance between them. The Nomu was fast enough to react and swing his fist backward to hit Izuku. Izuku dodged the attack by ducking under. Izuku took this opening to slice the Nomu hand off. The Nomu did not flinch after losing an arm. Instead, it swung its other hand and punched Izuku. "That hurts, you bastard," Izuku shouted after getting punched. Izuku stood up and looked at the Nomu, who just finished regenerating the lost limb. "This is not going anywhere. It can even regenerate a lost limb." Izuku, though. He looked around to spot Momo and Kyoka. "Their body is warm, that means they are alive. I need to finish this fight fast," Izuku thought as he got ready to attack again. "Hey, bird bastard, do you know the difference between these villains and you?" Izuku said as he pointed the sword toward the running Nomu. "I won't go to jail for killing you," Izuku said as he parried the Nomu's attack and stabbed the sword into Nomu's body. Full release, Izuku released all the heat through the sword into Nomu's body. Nomu was reduced to ashes. The sword in his Izuku hand melted, and the area around him also melted. The backlash from the quirk also burned Izuku. Izuku walked towards Momo and Kyoka to check their condition. Momo's costume was also burned because of Izuku's quirk. He removed his jacket and covered Momo with it. His clothes were DNA-coated so they could handle the backlash of his quirk. He had sat down to check the girl's condition. Izuku did not have enough energy to move right now. If he uses his quirk anymore, it will backfire on him. He would try to recover a little stamina and try to patch the girls. Boom. Izuku heard a huge explosion in the distance and hoped no one got seriously hurt. USJ Center. Nomu twisted Tenko's wrist, screaming in pain as blood rolled down his hand. "Your quirk is similar to mine, so we share the same weakness. If we restrain your hands, you will be useless," the handman explained to Tenko, who glanced up to look at Nomu before the Nomu slammed his hand down on his arm, breaking it. "No matter how many times I turn this thing to dust, it just regenerates itself," Tenko thought. "We need to find a way out." "Nomu, bring me the other," the handman said. Nomu moved towards Aizawa and picked him up and threw him towards his boss. "Now you answer a few questions for me or Eraserhead dies," the villain said as he grabbed Aizawa while keeping only 4 fingers in contact. "Fuck off," Tenko said. "Wrong answer," the villain said as he used his quirk on Aizawa, but nothing happened. The villain turned towards Aizawa and saw his eye flashing red. "I won't die so easily," Aizawa said. The villain let go of him and then signaled the Nomu. Nomu grabbed Aizawa and Tenko's heads and smashed their heads into the ground, shattering the cement. "Nomu, deal with the knockoff. I will kill Eraserhead," the hand villain said as he moved towards them. As they were moving towards Aizawa and Tenko, Nomu stopped and looked in a different direction. Noticing this, the villain also turned. "What is it? Why did you sto dash?" Before he could finish his sentence, a boat slammed into him and the Nomu. "Is everybody all right?" Ida asked as he freed himself from the wreck. "Somehow," Melissa said as she helped Tsu get out. Kero, Tsu responded. We are alive! Ochako shouted as she jumped out of the wreck. Ochako moved to help Ida when she smelled something. Guys, the boat is going to explode. Run! Ochako shouted as all four ran away from the boat. Boom! The boat exploded. As the four were running away, they spotted Aizawa and Tenko and stopped to help them get to safety. As they were moving their teachers, the burning boat was thrown to the side. It was the Nomu that had thrown the boat, and behind him was the hand villain. How dare you throw a boat at me? The villain shouted. The warp villain appeared beside the man. Tamura Shigaraki. Are you alright? The warp addressed the handman. I am fine. Kurogyri, were you able to kill 13? Shigaraki asked him as he dusted himself. I was not able to, but I was able to kill one student, and there were students that I was unable to disperse, and one of them was able to get away. Kurogyri summed up the situation. Shigaraki turned to him and then looked away, scratching at his neck. Kurogyri, you are useless. If you weren't a warp gate, I would have crushed you to pieces. We can't win against dozens of pros. It's game over. Let's go home. Shigaraki sighed. But, before we leave, let's smash his pride more as the symbol of peace. Shigaraki stated, turning his head towards the group. The four of them got ready to fight. When your teachers could not stop me, you think you can, Shigaraki said. Nomu, get them. Nomu moved toward the group at a terrifying speed. It tried to punch Ochako but missed because Ida had used his quirk to get her out of the way. Nomu then moved towards Tsu, who was the nearest. Nomu caught her and threw her at Ochako and Ida. Nomu approached them. You! Melissa demanded. Let them go. Now. Smaz! It was a do-or-die situation for Melissa. She decided to use her quirk even if it meant destroying her hand. The wind blew away from Melissa's punch, knocking away villains that had still been standing in the plaza and shattering lights that lined the edges of the dome, far away from the point of contact. The recoil from the punch broke Melissa's hand. She stopped herself from screaming. She looked up and saw the Nomu taking no damage. No way, she realized to her terror. You have a pretty powerful quirk, Shigaraki commented. This smash of yours. Are you one of All Might's disciples? His shoulders slumped, no longer interested. Doesn't matter, I'm done with you now. Nomu picked up Melissa by her broken arm, ready to pummel her into the ground as it did with her teacher. A loud crash echoed as the door to the entrance was kicked down, making the teacher and students at the entrance turn heads, also getting the attention of Shigaraki. Glancing at the entrance, which was covered with dust, footsteps echoed. The students at the entrance started either smiling or. All Might walked by the students and 13 at the entrance, the students smiling at the sight of All Might. All Might stomped his foot, the dust on the floor getting blown back as All Might stood at the top of the stairs. It's fine now, All Might announced, tearing his tie off, announcing his catchphrase. I am here. Shigaraki sighed as he looked up at the majestic pro who stood at the pinnacle of hero society. Looks like our game's getting a continue. All Might walked by the students and 13 at the entrance, the students smiling at the sight of All Might. That's All Might? A group of villains that were once unconscious watched All Might. It's my first time seeing him in person. He looks so intimidating. Idiots, don't hesitate. If we kill that, we'll dash, one villain exclaimed at the others. In mid-sentence, All Might had jumped from where he was and landed a punch on him before doing the same to the other villains until he made his way to the teachers at the plaza. In the blink of an eye, All Might grabbed the students away from Nomu and Shigaraki, the force of the wind making the hand on Shigaraki's face fall off. Everyone, get away from here. Help your teachers. Hurry! All Might instructed them. Yes, sir. Ida saluted. Ribbit, Ajui replied. Melissa stared at him whispering, Uncle. Shigaraki picked up the hand and placed it back on his face, sighing. He hit me as he was saving them. Shigaraki laughed as he muttered. He's fast as expected. I can't follow him with my eyes. But not as fast as I thought he'd be. I guess it's true, after all, that he's getting weaker. Melissa, holding on to her broken arm, said, Uncle, I punched that bird with my full power but he didn't even twitch. Please be careful. Melissa. All Might interrupted. Holding a peace sign, All Might smiled. It's fine. All Might then turned to Nomu and Shigaraki, running at them at full speed. Carolina. Nomu. Shigaraki summoned, Nomu standing in front of him. Smash! All Might sliced the air with his hands, sending the water flying, but Nomu didn't budge. It looked up at All Might before trying to grab at him, who ducked in time, commenting, It seriously has no effect at all, huh? All Might punched at Nomu's gut this time, but it still wouldn't budge. In that case, All Might punched Nomu in the face multiple times before it roared at him, reaching to grab him. All Might jumped back, questioning, It doesn't work on his face, either, huh? Nomu caught up to All Might, the two of them exchanging blows. It doesn't work because of shock absorption. To cause damage to Nomu, it would be most effective to gouge out his flesh slowly. Whether he'd let you do that or not is a different issue, though. Shigaraki laughed. Thanks for telling me all that. All Might yelled, dodging Nomu's fist. Kurogyri, get the other Nomu, Shigaraki commanded. Yes, young master, Kurogyri said as he teleported away. Shigaraki knew defeating All Might wouldn't be easy, that's why his master had provided him with two Nomus. Fighting two monsters that were designed to kill you, even someone like All Might would have trouble. I am going to kill the symbol of peace, Shigaraki said as he laughed. As the rap gate opened again, the laughter became louder. Time to die, all dash. He was cut off before could finish. Young master, Kurogyri said. What, can't you see I am busy? Shigaraki said. I can't find the second Nomu, Kurogyri said. What? I tried searching the area where I dropped him, there is no trace of it, Kurogyri said. Look again, without the second Nomu it will not be. Boom. Both of them looked where the sound came from and saw All Might, who had just buried the Nomu into the ground and rendered it useless. Let's retreat, Shigaraki said, making a split-second decision after seeing his plan crumble. As you wish, Kurogyri said as he opened a portal to escape. Just as fast as they appeared they disappeared. Nizu was standing at the USJ door and he was enraged. Someone not only attacked his student but also got away with it. Currently, he was thinking of multiple ways to destroy the villains. Some ideas were within the bounds of the law and others would get him arrested, but for his students and staff, he was not afraid to use them. 6 students were heavily injured: Melissa Shield, who broke her arm, Mina Ishido, who took a villain attack head-on, Momo Yaoyorozu, who lost a lot of blood because of her head injury, Kyoka Jiro suffered massive blood loss, Izuku Midoriya had first-degree burns and quirk exhaustion, and Katsuki Bakugwa suffered from quirk overuse. The rest of the students suffered minor injuries. 2 teachers were heavily injured, Shota Aizawa and Tenko Shimura. They were rushed to the medical wing by All Might and 13. They had captured 50 villains, but the Rap Gate villain and the leader got away. The villains ran away as soon as they realized that their plan failed. They had bought 2 Nomu, but for some reason, they could not find the second Nomu to fight All Might. They ran as soon as All Might buried the Nomu in the ground. The rest of the teachers were still looking for the second bioengineered creature. Nizu was going to destroy the League of Villains. You started it and now I will end you, Nizu thought. Izuku was on the way back home. Yue had called everyone's parents to get them home. He had met his friends before his mom arrived. Momo was getting healed by Recovery Girl. Melissa, who had woken up and offered Ochako to stay at her house as her parents could not make it to Yue in a day. Tsu was surrounded by her little sibling and Ida was giving instruction on how to behave in a medical room. Izuku and his mother arrived home. While his mother went to park the car, he went straight to the bath to take a hot bath. Izuku was not sure how long he was in the bath, but when he came out there was an uninvited guest in the living room. Izu, do you have something to drink? ⴬ᴜ asked. What are you doing? Izuku asked. ⴬ᴜ answered. Why are you here? Izuku asked as he went to check the refrigerator. I was worried about you, ⴬ᴜ said. Izuku brought the drinks from the refrigerator for ⴬ᴜ. Really? Izuku asked. Yes, also Auntie called me, ⴬ᴜ said. Izuku just sighed and went to watch the movie till dinner was ready. Dinner was quiet. His mom looked worried and ⴬ᴜ was focused on the curry. The USJ was still on Izuku's mind. Something was not right. His gut was telling him he was missing something important from the encounter but was not sure what. So he kept analyzing the event from start to finish again and again. ⴬ᴜ saw the look on Izuku's face and asked, What's troubling you? ⴬ᴜ said. Hello Izu. Wow, not even listening to me. ⴬ᴜ picked up a pillow from the sofa and threw it at Izuku. Izuku, who got startled. What happened? Izuku said. Nothing, just wanted your attention and wanted to ask what's troubling you. Nothing, Izuku said. I am not stupid, so I know something is on your mind. Tell me, ⴬ᴜ said. It's nothing, I swear, Izuku said. ⴬ᴜ sighed and said, You leave me no choice. ⴬ᴜ turned towards his aunt and said, Auntie, did you know recently me and Izuku went out to Hosu and we had a lot of fun, Izuku said, cutting ⴬ᴜ off. Okay, ⴘᴏ said. ⴬ᴜ was just trying to cheer me with good and fun memories, Izuku said. Izuku turned towards ⴬ᴜ and said, Let's talk in my room. ⴬ᴜ just smiled. So tell me, ⴬ᴜ said. It's about the USJ, Izuku said as he looked at ⴬ᴜ, who had a face that said of course it is. Well, my gut is telling me I am missing something obvious about the whole encounter, Izuku said. So, you are not sure what's troubling you? ⴬ᴜ asked. Yes. ⴬ᴜ thought for a moment before saying, Why don't you tell me what happened at the USJ? Maybe I will pick up on the missing link? Sure, Izuku said. Izuku started to explain the encounter at the USJ in detail in the hope that ⴬ᴜ would pick up on something. ⴬ᴜ listened carefully and asked a few questions, but the feeling in his gut still did not go away. And that's it, Izuku said as he completed the story. Anything? Nah, but we'll keep thinking about it, ⴬ᴜ said. There was a moment of silence before Izuku spoke up again. You know, I found something important during the USJ, Izuku said. I need to learn to have better control of my quirk. And you did not know this before? ⴬ᴜ asked. Not like this. When I used full release, I injured myself and the nearby surroundings. If there were civilians, they would have gotten hurt. I can't keep on destroying everything around me, Izuku said. Okay. I will try to find someone to help you with your quirk, ⴬ᴜ said. Thank you, Izuku said. No problem, just buy me lunch next time, ⴬ᴜ said. After talking for a little, it was time for ⴬ᴜ to leave. Are you sure you can go home alone? You are welcome to stay, ⴘᴏ said. I want to, but the sister is worried about me, ⴬ᴜ said. Oh, still it was nice of you to come, ⴘᴏ said. ⴬ᴜ just smiled. Just before leaving, ⴬ᴜ saw the relieved look on Izuku's face while sitting on the sofa, which he did not like, so he said, Izuku, did you tell Auntie about the girls? About what? ⴘᴏ asked. Auntie, did you know 2 girls in Izu's class like him? I know the name of one, it is Melissa, but not sure about the other girl's name. ⴬ᴜ said. Really? ⴘᴏ said. Yes, I was so happy he is so popular, ⴬ᴜ said. My Izuku is popular, ⴘᴏ said happily. Why don't you both talk about Izuku's love life after I leave? Thank you once again. By Auntie, by Izu, ⴬ᴜ said and left, leaving a happy ⴘᴏ and an annoyed Izuku behind. I will kill him, Izuku thought as his mother started to ask him questions. This is what ⴬ᴜ looks like.